Hey, good evening, everybody. Good Monday evening, the 3rd of September 2018. We've got a few more people that are going to join the hangout as the evening goes on. So far, we have Astral, Patricia, and Steve Harris. So, hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, I was just saying, Flat Earth Dude can't make it because he's got flu, and we were supposed to be on with Russian vids on Friday. He got flu, so there's flu in California.
Uh-oh. You know what? I see Flat Earth Dude around every now and then when we do things out here in the LA area. Um, he's always out there grinding and stuff like that. I know a couple weeks ago they were on Hollywood Boulevard doing some Flat Earth activism, and I think was it yesterday, the day before yesterday, they were at Griffith Park and then went to the observatory to do some stuff. I don't know if he made that one or not because I wasn't able to make it, but he's definitely one of those guys that's always grinding. He's really, really good guy. So I hope he gets better soon.
Met Flat Earth Dude, haven't you?
Yep, a few times. Yeah, first met him out
Yeah.
in Palmdale, and then we all went out to an establishment to grab some drinks and stuff like that. And he was a great dude. He paid. So I mean, he was nice. He treated everybody. I was like, you didn't have to do that, but he was very gracious and was like, come on, you guys, I'll get you guys a drink. And I was like, this guy is awesome.
He's a good guy, spreading the word, and he does a good, like you said, good fitting. The ones on the Hollywood Boulevard there a couple of Fridays ago, that was brilliant. If you saw it, good. If you haven't seen it, have a look because it's good stuff what he does.
Yeah, I think it's great. Hollywood's definitely the place to the Boulevard's a place to do things. A lot of people are down there promoting all kinds of stuff anyway. So I think that it's appropriate to have flat earthers or anybody else trying to spread any truth go down there to spread it.
Are you going to the beach meet this weekend?
Um, this one I know. Well, next Saturday they're having. Oh no, yeah, that one I won't be able to make, but it's the one at Renee's house. I think out by that way.
Yeah.
I was planning on it.
Assuming that
You
Flat
know,
Earth Dude well, then we'll be with him streaming on Saturday.
yeah. The hold on just 1 second here.
You got a phone call. Anyway, Astral, you said you got a bit of toothache, headache.
Yeah, it's more of a front side of my face ache. Yeah, yeah. I won't go on about
All
it.
right.
No one likes to have toothache. Obviously, it's annoying. Obviously.
Damn.
Patricia, we've not heard from you for a little tiny time. How are you doing? What have you been up to? I know you've had your son over, haven't you?
Oh yeah.
What have you been up to?
Is that it?
Yeah. Is that it? Yeah.
Not been up to much. Usual. How are you anyway?
He's just saying he's got toothache.
Yeah.
But Astral fell over when he was on holiday and cracked his head, and since then he's had these weird pains sort of in his face and that. So he's probably done something, haven't you, Astral?
Yeah, I got visited by Frankenstein. I got visited by the Frankenstein factory. Yeah, never mind. It's all good. I'm good. I was gonna say about Mr. Harris here. Has he got any good videos up on YouTube? Is that how you come to know him, Karen, or what?
You know what? I don't have anything yet. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead, darling.
Oh, yeah. I initially last year I had the concept, the idea of putting up all kinds of videos and doing things, and during the same time, I was noticing anybody that was spreading any kind of truth, all their stuff getting taken down. So I was like, eh. So I decided to kind of like not do that. But I do plan on putting some podcasts and different things together. Um, Probably within the next few months, I'm going to have some stuff going on, and it should be a lot of fun. I'll be talking to people about all kinds of things, and I think that's my plan. I think it's going to be really, really neat. I'm working on that stuff now, and it should be happening within the next few months. But usually, used to be in a lot of groups and you know flat Earth pages and things like that, just debating people and doing things like that. And then I didn't do that as much um, for a while, just because I started noticing a lot of negativity and things going around in the communities and stuff like that. So for a while, I mostly kind of stayed away from that stuff and watch positive videos. Like I like what Karen's doing and a few other people, but it seemed like for a while there's a lot of hating and different things going on that kind of deterred me from doing a lot of different things. But I decided in a few months I'm going to start putting up some stuff.
You like the live meets, don't you, Steve? That's
Yeah,
how Steve's
right.
been to the California meets and Flat Earth. That's how he's met Flat Earth too.
You're right. So
Right.
you're more an like hands-on kind of character in that sense, rather than want to do a video. You're more
Right.
up in
Um,
front of face to face. Yeah.
right. But I do plan on going to a few more of those as well as other things, and possibly putting out a few videos on a variety of different things. Um, but yeah, I usually will show up to the meets if I can. Um, and I like the meets. That's where I first. I was watching one of Lucy's videos not too long ago, and I think her and I met up at her. I met her at her very first meet, which was my very first meet a year ago, where I met Aaron and some of the other guys, and I love the community. I think it's fantastic, and been sticking with it ever since. Um, like I said, I did have plans on starting some videos, but in the next few months you'll see some stuff going up.
So, how long have you been a flat earther then? I think we might have talked to you about this before, but anyway, say it again.
Right.
What was it for you?
I'll tell you what happened. I talk to people, and I don't feel just because what had happened was I've never believed we lived on a spinning ball ever since I was a child, and I find out that later in life I pretty much don't believe in like anything. But the flat Earth thing started in which I didn't call it flat Earth. It started like I would say back in the '70s when a classmate of mine asked me if I thought that we lived on a spinning ball, if I thought the Earth was moving. And I was like, I don't think it's moving at all. Why do you? And he was like, no. I was like, neither one of us thought we felt the Earth moving. And so that was just our thing, and we left it at that. Um, and so I would say like 40 years, I've been this way. So when I have a buddy of mine that lives in Denver bring up flat Earth to me, I wasn't interested in it just because I never believed we lived on a spinning ball anyway, and I was interested in researching things, but I wasn't interested in researching things that I already agreed with. So I was like looking for things that were new to me because I was like, oh, people think the world is flat. Yeah, well, I can agree with that. I don't think we live on a spinning ball anyway. So I was just looking into other things, and then I decided one day just to watch some videos, and then found them interesting, and found that I learned some things that I didn't know before. So I was like, okay, and I just started watching them every now and then.
So, is your family with you, or do your family think you're crazy? Like some of my family think I'm crazy.
You know what? I think they always just thought I was different, just because I didn't follow the norm. Like, for example, I hate labels, and I guess when it comes to politics, I've been a registered libertarian for nearly 20 years, and I remember years ago my dad saying, "Hey, I heard the libertarians are kind of crazy." That's the label that they got, and so that's the reason why. Um, so they just looked at me as always. Well, Steve has his own views. He does his own thing, and that's pretty much about it.
So have you always lived in California then?
You know what? I was born in California, and then when I was a teenager, I moved to Denver, which I lived there for 8 years, Las Vegas, and then back to California. So I was born in Redwood City, California, which is Northern California, like a half an hour away from San Francisco. And then I moved to Denver, which is like my second home. Lived there throughout, you know, junior high and high school and stuff, and then moved to Los Angeles, back in '92, and they've been in Southern California ever since.
I've been to Los Angeles. I was sweet 16. My aunt lived in San Jose then, and I went there for 6 weeks. I saw the band, went out to a concert, saw Cheap Trick, Blue Oyster
Oh
Cult.
yeah, San Francisco. You should have. I might have been living out there then. See, um, next time you come to California, make sure you hit me up then. But yeah, San Jose is a wonderful place.
Moved, but I've been to San Francisco, Santa Cruz. It took me to Universal Studios, Disneyland. Stayed
Yeah,
in one of those hotels.
yeah, so you did the nice tourist thing. That's pretty cool. You'll find when you come to Los Angeles, if you're usually if you think that it's going to be this a glamorous, pretty looking place, it's not necessarily. Though they cleaned it up a lot, it's not necessarily that. I remember my first time um, coming to LA, and I was like, oh, this place is a dump. This was years ago. When you watch the movies and you see the tourist commercials and things like that, you think everything is glamorous. Then it's not. It's not as pretty as what you think it is. But they've done a lot with all of Los Angeles to clean it up and make it a little bit better looking, anyway, for tourists.
What's the thing that you hate the most about all the lies?
Oh, say that one more time. I'm sorry.
What's the thing you hate most about all the lies?
You know what? I'm a big fan of people of free thought, where people being able to have their own views without people being judged. So if you feel that the Earth is flat, I think you should be able to go along with that narrative without having to feel ostracized or anything like that. If you think that gravity doesn't exist, which I think the whole explanation is goofy, you should be able to go along with that, with your own point of view about that as well. So I think the fact that people feel that they have to be shamed and to agreeing with something that they don't, or having to go along with something they don't, just so they don't feel like an outsider, is probably my biggest thing. Because I think back in the thousands of years ago, people looked at cosmology as like or astronomy as a natural science instead of a pseudoscience that it is now. And so I think free thought is important to me. Um, the lies, uh, my view on, like, for example, the moon landing, I don't believe that happened, and I'm iffy about, and I'm not really sure why other people do. But if they want to think that that's okay, I'm not really one of the people that sit there and make fun of people just because they're asleep. I realize that some people are just comfortable with that, and that's okay. I was at a party over the weekend, um, and I was talking to the friends, and they were talking, and they're teachers and stuff, and educated and things, and they were talking about the Tesla in space and things like that, and they felt so comfortable talking about it and things like that, and and as soon as I said to myself, "Do you believe
Thinking
that's
that they know.
real?" I stopped myself and I said, "You know what? If they were happy about it, who am I to sit there and ruin on their happiness? I'm at their house at a party. You know what I mean? And it's like, even though I didn't believe it, it was just like, oh, whatever. You know what I mean? Not everybody, people wake up or become aware of things at their own time. So I'm at a point now where it's like, because I know there's enough people like us and other people that are awake now, that is like, there's no shortage of people that are becoming aware all the time. So it's not that big of a deal for me to sit there and push it on someone else, especially if I'm at their home and they invited me in good faith and we're having a good time. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense or not.
Yeah, because sometimes it's just not worth it, is it? There's a big wall, and you may as well not try to smash it or climb it, because there's no point.
Right. And And so now I'm interested in. I would like a time where uh, kids were just taught the things that they need to know, and then everything else was just brought to their attention, where they can discuss it in a philosophical way. Like, okay, yeah, teach the kids math, how to read, life skills and things like that, and then anything else that you can't prove 100%. Uh, bring them up in a way where they'd have their own critical thinking and have their own points of view. I think a lot of history, like we're finding out all the time that, for example, people grew up thinking that Christopher Columbus was this great person, and then they were all of a sudden realized that he really wasn't. And if
What is
that
a
was
book?
something that, right. So if that wasn't really taught, it seems like, and this information isn't really that new. So it seems like they're holding on to stuff as long as they can before they expose it. So I think if there's uh, any proof or anything out there that different than what you're teaching, then don't teach it at all. Because later it's going to come to light, and then it's going to look stupid. You're going to look stupid, and you're going to have to retract anything that you taught before. So just teach them the basic stuff and things that's going to be useful for kids in life, and then let them have their own views on history.
Yeah.
Or the
But
way the
it
world works, or
changes how
anything
you.
else.
I don't go out so much. What am I going to do? Go meet some alcoholics in Newbury or people who drink loads and think in the ball anyway? It's changed. How I used to be so sociable and go out. Now I don't. I think you want to connect more with others and not when you're on the computer, or the internet or the cell phone. So that's what I'm doing instead. I've changed everything now. I don't go out that much, but I'm older now. I don't know what that's going to do with it.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny, yeah, because I don't go out as much either. Though I do hang out around with a lot of teachers and different things and stuff like that. And I find out that a lot of them really don't know. And as I go around classrooms and I look around at different things, um, it seems like that teachers now are mostly babysitters than anything else. But I don't think they learn the curriculum just so they can get the job, and then and there's all these systems and things that they have to teach. Like I was talking to somebody the other day about Common Core, which is something out here which they should get rid of, and just other stuff. But I do think people are realizing it, and I think that eventually there'll be a time where people will be open to alternative teaching or the truth, and I think that just takes a little more time. In time, people will realize that the system that we have right now doesn't work.
Stephen, can I say something, please?
Sure, go right ahead.
Yeah, I agree there with what you say. Like, that when you look around, people are just not aware of it. And it's shocking when you actually, for us anyway, that are aware of facts and things, that teachers especially can educate children in things that are just totally wrong. Factually wrong, scientifically wrong, and I think that's where we need to concentrate our efforts, because as soon as we can break that egg in that sense, it's we're getting somewhere then, because it's there where it needs to be. It's there where it needs to start from, from the youth of today. It's always from today, not from yesterday or tomorrow. It's always from today, isn't it? That's where we're at,
I agree.
I've got kids, and I don't want them growing up believing that they're living on a flipping ball, spinning through nothingness, and are totally insignificant. They're not. We are not. We're all, magical and special, aren't we, in some sort of way? Yet to find out. Anyway, I yield the floor.
No, I agree with you 100%. My only thing I think is that because teachers, it might take one teacher to sit there and speak the truth, but then they're in fear of maybe losing their jobs, being criticized by their peers. And so it's a hard thing. So anybody that wants to teach what's true, they're not going to do it. You know what I mean? Because they have to make a living, they have bills, but they're just, like the stack is against them, right? So they're just going to keep on going with the flow.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, carry on. I was just going,
No,
yeah.
yeah, because I was going to think that. See, to me, I always felt that everyone was special whether, regardless of whether people believed it was a ball or if they know that it was flat, right? And I think that, and I'm not really sure if, because why people want us to feel that we're so, excuse me, that we're nothing or insignificant, because it doesn't make any sense. It's like they're teaching us the ball to let us know, hey, you guys really aren't nothing, when that's not true. I was sitting there and like you guys, like I was thinking one time how all the planets are named after gods, right? Except for Earth. Earth is just Earth, but it's because Earth is different. What I mean? We're something different than every other uh, celestial body up there.
And
And
remember, sorry, Stephen,
go ahead.
remember, Earth is an anagram of heart. There's a reason
That's
for that,
true.
surely. Nothing is
That's true.
coincidental.
That's true because we're the pulse. We're where all the energy is. You know what I mean? And even if, because I don't, I'm not one of those type of guys that believe in aliens and things like that. If some people do, that's okay. That's their business. That's just not me. And so, if to me, if everything is on Earth, if all the different species of life is on Earth, why wouldn't it be the center of everything? You know what I mean? It's like, because there's nothing else nowhere. It's like if you were living in a housing tract and there was only one house that had people living there that had power on, and yet all the other lots were vacant. That's where all the energy is, just like Earth, right? So if we're where everything is at, then we're the center. Period. You know what I mean? Everything revolves over us, and so that's how I look at things. And so, um, if for some reason,
Steve, like you can be in any religion you want now. You can be straight, gay, whatever it is, but you can't be a flat earther. It's not mentioned. It's nowhere. It's cut out completely. And I don't understand when so many people like Bling Bling, or even Horry's got that picture up of the double cloud on his. I've seen paused astronauts, but some politician hasn't said, "Hang on a minute." Someone would have seen these things, and they still don't say anything.
yeah, because they don't want to be looked down upon, right? You have to. People feel like they have to go with the flow. And what I will say about the flat Earth community is I do like that um, they feel that hey, we put our we're the real truth. And we don't care what people think. This is what we agree with. And I think that's pretty cool because a lot of people, like you say, go with the flow. Um, and just try to fit in. And maybe I think because there was a time in my life where I was like, if there was something that I didn't get, maybe I thought, okay, maybe I'm a little bit different. And then I realized I am different because my way of looking at things are different than the mainstream. And I think that's what it really is. And so I don't think anyone should be ashamed of what they agree with. I think if you whether if you don't believe in gravity, if you know feel the earth is flat or whatever, yeah, just go along with it, because really the people that the so-called powers that be and the people that teach this stuff, they don't really know anything anyway. I always say, because they're all just theories, so I always say if you take the plus story minus the st equals very, so that's all everything really is just a story. And um, and with scientists, their stories are, stories until something else comes along, and then they can always alter it, right? So they always alter it, so they're always right. So they'll say one thing, and then all of a sudden, flat Earth will come up with some evidence that will challenge what they are going with. So then they'll alter it to make it fit that new rebuttal. I see it all the time. The world might have been one way, and all of a sudden they change it. So that's the nice thing about science, right? Because you can always change it and still be right without looking like a fool.
Yeah, what one good thing is, like, they can always do their experiments. We can go in afterwards and reenact those experiments and get probably two different readings, two different results. But the thing is that we'll carry on doing it and get the same results again and again and again. Whereas the other supposed scientists will bugger off, you know, and think, yeah, we've got victory.
Yeah, I agree. And so I think, and it's funny because I saw a tweet the other day. Somebody, it said something to the effect that NASA spends like maybe 42 billion or something between all the agencies together. That is, billions of dollars on research, whereas the flat earthers have like a zero budget, but we come up with all these proofs. And I just found that pretty profound.
People are
And
spending their own money on their experiments.
right, because really we don't have a budget, and I always wonder, and I've thought about this from some time because I remember hearing a while back um, in a debate, one guy saying, "Are all you flat earthers broke?" Meaning that because we were like, "Oh, if we were able to go to Antarctica, but we just don't have the money," and it was like, to me, I don't think you really need the money. It'd be nice to be able to see some things, but I think if you're able, there's certain tests that you can do that doesn't take a whole lot of money, and it seems like there's people out there doing them already. And I think those are pretty cool. I don't do a whole lot of research because I'm happy with the research that I've been seeing. Um, if I can come up with something that hasn't been done, maybe I would try to do that. But I think that a lot of the people that I see are doing a really, really good job.
Do you think, I watched a little while ago this video that the Mandela effect is only actually there for people who've woken up?
You know what? I'm not a big fan of that at all. That's one of those ones I just don't look into. Though my son was into that for a little bit, and there was one, the Fantasy Island one, where Tattoo was saying, "Hey boss, the plane." I actually did thought he said "Hey boss," but I found out I was wrong. So maybe it was just my memory. But I'm not sure if the Mandela effect is because when I see something, it's like they're putting up videos of things that I probably remember seeing, and I don't know if they were actually edited or if that's how they really were. You know what I mean? Like,
Stephen, can I ask you? I don't know how old you are, but you've obviously
I'll be 49 October 1st. Save the date. No.
Yeah, okay. Well, we're similar age, but we've seen Star Wars, haven't we? And do you remember the golden robot? He did not have a silver leg. I know that.
Oh,
Not in my lifetime, anyway.
are you talking about Star Wars? You talking about C3PO? That one?
Yeah. C3PO, he was golden. He didn't have a silver leg.
To me,
yeah,
I remember him as being gold.
Yeah, true. Right, well, apparently he was never all golden. He did always have a silver leg, so there you go. How do you explain that? That's Mandela.
You know, that's interesting.
So you've obviously been part of the Mandela effect, and I'm on the same side as you. We're obviously the people that are seeing the golden C3PO, and then you've got people that are seeing the golden C3PO with the silver leg, side.
You know what I found out?
What's going on, I don't know, but there is definitely something happened there, that's for sure, because he was golden.
I'll tell you something interesting about that. I think sometimes people see what they're focused on something and they see what they want to see, right? I was at a training out here last week called Unconscious Bias. And they were talking about how some people may be sensitive to other people's religion, race, or whatever without knowing it. There was a video that they played where, before they played the video, and the video might be on YouTube, it's just like maybe a 30-second or 1-minute video, where a seagull picks up a twig and drops it. And they said, "I want you to count how many times the seagull drops the twig." And so everybody's watching the video and the camera's moving and there's all kinds of things, and they're trying to count how many times the seagull dropped the twig. So then what happened? They were like, "Okay, that's what you guys saw. Did you guys see anything else?" And they kept talking, "Did you see anything else?" And people were like, "Well, I saw this, I saw that." And they said, "You see anything else?" And people were talking. And then they showed the video again. They said, "I want you to count how many different things you see." And so again, and people were counting all this stuff, the different things. Now I noticed something that I only told to a few people around me because I didn't want to sound like I was crazy, because it just seemed out of place to me. So everybody in the whole place except for me noticed something And because and I'll tell you what it was in a second. Uh, and everybody's counting all these things. And so then I turned around to the people. I said, I think I saw an alligator, but in my mind, or a crocodile. But in my mind, I was like, this was at the beach, and there were seagulls there. So to me, it made. I thought if nobody else saw it except me, I thought that I was maybe I'm seeing things. I don't have the best vision in the world, but that was the only thing I noticed, and anything else. And so then they played it again, and people were counting other things, and no one still noticed the alligator. But then I for sure know that's what I saw, and then I was like, and another girl had happened to notice it then, and they were like, so they say they saw an alligator, and they showed it again. They were like, Steve, can you get up here and show us this alligator? And I pointed it out, and everybody was like, oh my goodness. So there's like 30 of us sitting there, and nobody noticed the alligator at the beach because they're too busy either looking at the seagull dropping the twig or looking for other things. Like people are like, oh, I see the water, I see clouds. And so sometimes I think when you're focused on certain things, like some things might just, like people counted 9 things. I just saw the alligator because that's the only thing that I saw. So that was just like one thing that I didn't notice the 9 things that the other people said they saw. You know what I mean? So I think sometimes when you're just focused on something, you're just drawn to that, and that's it. So but it was interesting how people just noticed different things. And it seems like if you're at a beach and there was an alligator there, if we were all there, we probably would have noticed that. But but nobody else did, and they're counting all these different things, and they didn't notice the alligator, which seems like that would have been like the elephant in the room, right? So I think with the C3PO thing, if the majority of it was gold, we probably just maybe didn't notice the legs. But I'll have to look at it again because I still think it was gold. But I don't know.
Mind you, now, so we see different things, don't we? We're looking for different things. We're awake and alert.
Right. So it's like, for example, I was at the beach the other day, and I see like I don't think we live on a spinning ball, but if I was just looking at the beach, I could see how sometimes people might think that a boat is going over, but I know that a camera can bring it right back in. Do you know what I mean? And maybe because of atmosphere and stuff like that. But I could see, like, sometimes I could look at it and I'll say, okay, I see where they're going at, but they're not really looking at it, go away. You know what I mean? That we could pull the boat back in and so on. But I could see how in ancient times they would have thought, well, maybe it might be going over because they didn't know any better. You know what I mean? And sometimes people's perception is really good. Like, I remember sitting in a room and somebody was moving some. They're like, and they're just moving the stuff. Like, and all of a sudden I said, "Hey!" And all of a sudden it scared the shit out of the guy. And it was like, I didn't know you was there. And I'm like, I'm right next to you, but I just didn't say anything. And I was like wondering if he was going to notice me or not. So sometimes I think people just notice things differently.
We're in this great big program, aren't we?
Right.
It's kind of definitely subversion, if not like a kind of communism that we're in. And they've been programming us. And Robert Forsey comes on. He says, they don't know, they don't know. And that's what those people are. They don't know, they don't know.
Right.
Bad, isn't it?
That's true. Yeah, it's very, very true. Yeah, because if you're in your own little world, like I always tell people, sometimes when I'm walking down the street, sometimes I'll look around and sometimes I don't pay any attention to what's around me just because I'm in a comfortable, and I just always got thoughts going through my head. And I was saying to myself, if someone just snuck up on me, I probably wouldn't notice it. I had a friend of mine do that one time. I was actually in line at a fast food restaurant, and all of a sudden they grabbed me behind and put me in like a jujitsu choke. And I was like, oh, hey, what's up? And I was like, man, I didn't hear that coming. So I think it's good to be aware if you can. But I think with the Mandela effect, I have to look more into that because a lot of people like my son, he's like, Steve, he's like, Dad, that can really happen, and I'm like, I'm not sure, what I mean? But I think people just notice different things because they're so focused on one thing. Because when he mentioned the C3PO thing, I was trying to think of when I was a kid, I had some action figures, and I was pretty sure I had a C3PO one, but I'm just thinking in my mind if the legs were silver or not. And I
I
just can't
only
remember.
remember him gold.
Right. So that's
I
what I'm thinking
remember
of. It could have,
figures. Yeah, everybody had them. Gold. You never had a
right.
silver leg.
Right. That's why. And so that's one of the things. So when you have a bunch of things that, alters your reality, then you're not sure what to think, right? Like, let's say, for an example, in the movie, his legs were silver, but the toy was gold. Then if you're always interacting with the toy, you're thinking gold and not the silver legs. Do you know what I mean? So I think when
Say
there's
what you, because I put out a little video about the fact that when I was, obviously Russian vid thinks that Kennedy's death was faked anyway and the whole thing, but on this video I suddenly could see an extra head. And then when you actually start looking at the videos about Kennedy, a lot of people, even in the chat room, they've said on the messages, oh, I thought there was just two of them in the car. I remember that. You know what they did? When they
right.
did they reconstructed it afterwards, and they had a look-alike Kennedy, a look-alike Jackie. They were in a white car, a two-seater white car, and that's maybe what everybody remembers is actually the reconstruction, not the real day. Because people are going,
Yeah,
well, I remember two of them in there, and now there's six. You know, four of them. There was the driver and someone else, the president and Jackie. Now there's six.
right.
There's the set wife.
Right. Yeah, and that's possible too because I know, like you said, the video didn't come out. That one particular video, I forgot the name of the video now that they put out, Magruder or something. I can't remember what the video was called, but
Yeah,
they put out the
12
video.
years they were on that video and doctored it before they released it. 12
Yeah,
years before anybody.
right. That's a long time because it takes a while for people to memory to come back. Right. If you didn't see the shooting for like 12 years and all of a sudden you come out with the video, then you're like, huh. Yeah. So I agree. They could have doctored the video.
I think they have. I think they've taken frames out. May not be a lot of
And
frames, but you know, Russian Vids thinks that that's a dummy sitting in there.
Yeah, I'm not too sure, but the Kennedy one, I don't know if that's dumb. I think it's possible that it was him.
Yeah, there's a lot to
Yeah,
talk about
say-
there. Can I
yeah.
just say, I need to
You're
go.
gonna- You've got to go and look it up, right?
Yeah.
And there is one that they did pull everybody off. I even saw a video where one of the security, he puts his arms up 3 times, like, what is going on? Just before they get to the grassy knoll, they're all called off, which they were because they got these little that were standing on the car. And when the firing started happening, someone in the car behind, the security in the car behind, supposedly there's a gun in there, so he got it out. It was on, the safety trigger was off, and then the car that he was in lurched, and he accidentally fired a bullet. Supposedly.
Right. I remember seeing a video too, where the guy, as soon as they got off the airplane from the limo, the car had drove off without one of the Secret Service guys. He was kind of chasing after the car a little bit. They kept on going, and he was like, so yeah, it was definitely set up. And I don't know if they would go to that extreme if it was just a dummy. You know what I mean? Like, you know, they were trying to kill him because they didn't like his policies.
Oh. Well, supposedly, I don't think the governor of Texas, the governor of, what county was in? I've forgotten now. Oh my goodness, it was Texas, wasn't it? He didn't like him. But it's just a bit strange that this whole thing could have been cover-up because the security guard accidentally killed the president. But now they've got Jackie Kennedy killing him. She does something in the car and then she puts it behind her. And now she's cut and then she climbs on the back of the car. But she always lets the president drop. She always climbs on top of him. She's got half a brain and she's climbing on him.
Yeah.
So that's all a bit weird. We're not supposed to know, and that's why they withhold it. Because, you know, if you bring a video out of 9/11 now, people have forgotten, a lot of people have died, it just goes on, and they're hoping people forgotten.
Yeah. You know, that's one of those ones. I'm starting to think from some of the stuff I saw now that probably, that George Bush Sr. was in on it and a whole bunch of other people. And I'm sure a lot of us would agree with that. And I think there's quite a bit of information that we do know, but like I guess they say every lie ends up coming out, being exposed eventually. And I think that Uh, what I think happened, and I think there was a few people like, because there's mob people that think they did it. I think they hired a few different people to assassinate him, and then that way, whoever thought they did it. There was like more than one hired gun, and they're all confused.
Yeah, there are a few witnesses on the grassy knoll that said that there was a few people with guns out. They saw them different places on the grassy knoll. And then I'm wondering how many people were actually shooting at him and actually got him. You know, it was a bit like the Caesar thing. He wasn't being stabbed, he was being shot.
Right.
There's probably more shooting,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't Oswald.
No.
That's just
right. Yeah. Oswald was set up, and then I think they had the mob was hired, and then I think there might have been some Cuban guys that were hired. That's one of the narratives, and so there was a whole bunch of shooters hired. Whoever got um, Kennedy first is, but no group knew about the other, right? So I think the mob got hired. They didn't know that there was some other people getting hired and so on. So there were like 3 or 4 different contractors out there. That's why there was shooting coming from everywhere.
I do see this. They said this about 9/11. Like the FBI and the CIA never talked to each other, or supposedly didn't pass things. If they did, then 9/11 wouldn't have happened. I mean, again, that's just what the news is telling you later on. But no, none of these things talk to each other, do they?
Nope.
They keep separate.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, that they keep separate for a reason, right? So because they don't want to know what the other one's really doing. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like we have a military service. You know, like there's like the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, but none of them really get along, right? I mean, they respect each other because they're part of the armed forces out here. But it's like, the biggest football game that they have other than USC and UCLA is like Army and Navy, right? It's like this big battle. Everything is like have to be separate, even if you're in the same fighting for the same team. But there's like division within, and no one really talks to each other.
They're banking.
Like I've been to bars, right?
Horry.
I mean, I've been to bars where I've seen militaries just fighting. I'm like, what's this all about? They should get along, but one group thinks they're better than the other.
Hey, Karen, how's it going? Steven, how you doing? Patricia?
Hey, all right. How about yourself?
I'm making it, brother man.
We did have Astral, but Astral's got a bit of toothache. I think he's going to sit in the chat room. I don't know. He's just lobbed off. But it's good to see you, Horry. It's good to see you're out in space still.
Yeah, yep. It's a good old space up here. Same old space. Everything's still orbiting around, and I can't catch my lightsabers worth a damn. But I've been. What's that?
I was going to say, we're talking in a minute, but I just want to ask Steve one more thing because we were chatting to him. What's the thing that you like the most about like all the truth coming out, flat Earth? What's the thing that gets you the most?
I like that there's, definitely alternative thinking or, being exposed as opposed to the same people just in the same bubble thinking the same thing. And I think people need to open their mind. I think there's been an awakening going on for a while now. And, when people ask me, because I know one of the last times we talked, what's the biggest truth out there? Flat Earth is up there. The gravity interesting. I find that really interesting because it kind of go hand in hand with the flat Earth thing, right? But I think gravity to me seems to be big just because without that, you don't have a globe, right? So I think that once people realize that gravity is really and truly magical, then they're not going to believe anything else.
Stupid gravity.
Yeah, because it seems like that's the thing that holds everything together at this point. And so I think that if or flat earthers expose that, then by default people will be like, okay, well maybe this is just a plane or whatever. The globers will, realize that. Because as a kid, I thought that the first thing I thought was like, no, we're not moving. The second thing I did was I looked at a globe and, I had a little action figure and in my mind, I'm thinking, this is impossible for somebody being why, then it just dawned on me that even though I wasn't really into the gravity at the time, when I think back at it, if people don't believe that we're on a spinning ball, then they're automatically going to be like, okay, well, what is it then? And then that's when they'll come to the conclusion that it's just a plane. Because I always thought it was that we just lived on the ground and then there was things above us. I didn't think that we were on some flat disc or anything. Like I've never believed that. So I think people will come to that conclusion once they realize that gravity isn't magical. So I think that's the main.
Got us in debt and bills and television and television and lies and space. People aren't thinking enough. You need to think.
No one's thinking.
Stop thinking.
Yeah, and I think people are coming to that conclusion too. I know a lot of people are going to alternative news sources and videos like this and other places to look for it because they know that mainstream is flawed. And I think people are not slowly, but they're turning away, even in the political arena, with like the walk away stuff and different things. People are just like, something's not, people are changing parties. People are just the whole free speech thing. It seems like the whole world is in some chaos. And I think once people realize what's going on and start waking up to things, they'll realize that the majority of things that they've been taught isn't true.
Yeah, asking Horry, what's the thing you hate the most about what they've done with us with Flat Earth? What's the thing you hate the most and the thing you like the most?
Let's see. The thing I hate the most is it's got to be how they are flooding the internet and changing the algorithms on YouTube so that the whole first and second page just about is completely videos from the mainstream or videos from popular YouTube channels that are claiming to debunk it. That was done purposely. They want those videos before any of the real Flat Earth channels. And that's the biggest thing I have a problem with, aside from them messing stuff up. Like there's, the mainstream reported that Mad Mike was trying to prove the Flat Earth with that rocket launch, and that was not the case. So they get their facts purposely screwed up. And don't get me started on Neil deGrasse Tyson and Bill Nye the Liar guy, because they, just parrot garbage too. So those things that's got to be the worst. They're all working together to make it look stupid. And then the best thing you asked me, what's the best thing about it?
Yeah, the thing you like the most.
The community.
What's it done for you?
The community, the family aspect. I lost my family from becoming a flat earther, but I gained a family that means 100 times more to me than my own flesh and blood family. Like, for real. So that's the easy answer right there. The community. The best thing about it. What would you say,
fantastic.
Karen? Did you give
Steve
your
was going to say something.
Oh, no, I just said that's fantastic that you feel that you gained a community. I think I think your people will come around eventually when they do their own research. Like you say, a lot of times they have to hear it from someone else or whatever. I've been fortunate enough. I think my family always knew that I had my own thoughts anyway, so they just never cared. And I've been fortunate enough to have some interesting people. But I do know that people that I know that I'm a flat earther, they just don't really say anything. Like the ones, they'll be like, huh? And they'll be like, okay, whatever. Steve's cool, and then we'll just leave it at that. But they're not interested. Yeah, they're not.
They start.
That's all
they never.
You know what I also think it is too, is that I would like to see more with some of the flat earth videos. I think that flat earth, you got to come on to people in the approach needs to be better sometimes. You can't be like condescending or insulting people, because you don't want to come off sounding loony. You want to talk to them in a scientific way and be respectful, because if you're not respectful, they're not going to take you. You're just going to turn people off either. And you just got to drop little nuggets. You just can't. Right. Yeah. You just got to give them little nuggets at a time, and then let them disseminate that. because I know if you, it's like trying to have somebody drink water out of a fire hydrant. It's just too much at once. So yeah, you just got to give them a little bit at a time and have them go from there. Because if you give them too much, they're like, oh my goodness. But if you just said, yeah, just give them a little bit, they'll get it.
Like I did that last night when I was on my chat roulette stream. It took me about 40 minutes to get somebody, or 30 minutes to get somebody. And when I got was these two little kids wearing a horse face mask. So they're just goofing off on chat roulette. And they obviously saw the car and they were like, whoa, are you a YouTuber? I'm like, yeah, you guys want to be live? And they're like, yeah, they got all excited. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to ask you some space questions. And, and I hit them with like, I think in less than 10 minutes, I hit them with space bubbles, fake astronaut backflips, photoshopped clouds, and maybe even the reused CGI cloud layers. I think I hit them with like 4 big things. And like I was like, so what do you think about all that? And they kind of looked at each other, and then they looked back at me, and it took about 5 seconds of silence before they skipped the cam. But I mean, it's a fine line you got to walk between not overloading people and not looking like a crazy fool, and then still giving them good information. There's a real fine line to walk there. You're going to lose their interest. You're going to sound crazy or whatever, But I don't care because it's chat roulette, and I'll never see them again. And they can't unsee the stuff that I slammed down their faces. So yeah. Love that.
I like just saying to somebody, I just like saying to people, do you think we're traveling through space? And I would say at all these different speeds and things like that. And if they say, yeah, I'm like, interesting. And then I just leave it at that.
You can't even go. You can't even. Yeah, you can't even touch that. I'll ask people the same thing, or I'll ask them, oh, well, what is my question? I ask people that I kind of like, I say, yeah, when you, do you feel yourself moving? I guess that is my same question. Do you feel yourself moving at 1,000 miles per hour right now? And well, most of the time they'll say no, but if you ask them, do you think you are? They'll say yes. And that right there, I mean, I ask them then, do you watch the sunset and feel like you're rolling backwards at the speed of a speeding bullet? Is that what you're experiencing every time you watch the sunset? And they usually say no, but then I'm saying, well, that's exactly what you're doing. And that gets the hamster spinning the wheel.
Right. And like I said, if they believe in the moon landing, like I said, that's a good first question to ask too, because if they believe in that, then anything else you tell them is just a waste of time.
I don't know. No, I beg to differ, Steve. But go ahead, finish your statement.
Really? Because the reason why I was gonna say that, because like, I think if they believe in the moon landing, then they most likely will believe that we're on a spinning ball and everything else too.
Yeah. But here's the thing. The way I've been presenting my stuff, I've had at least, I'm starting to lose count, at least 4 or 5 people where the first question I asked was, do you believe the moon landing? And they were like, yes. And I'm thinking, well, all right, uphill battle here. But yeah, but when I start hitting them with the space bubbles and the fake backflips and the fake pictures and the fake videos of Earth and everything's fake, everything, the planets, you hit them with the planets looking like the underside of frying pans. They got freaking Pluto, like giving me all this stuff, makes it look all stupid and silly.
The paused astronaut put out with the other one.
I gotta make sure that.
I mean, they're supposed to be live together, and one of them's paused. What can they say?
Exactly, stuff like that. What can you say? And when you hit them with that, Steve, and you hit it right, I've had people after I asked them, do they believe the moon landing? They say, yeah. And then I hit them with that, and then I wait a second, and I ask them again. So now, do you believe in the moon landing? And they were like, no, not at all anymore. But these are younger people, so these are millennials and younger. The older people are obviously going to be like a little more skeptical still. They got to, they've seen a whole lot more. But all the younger folks, I'm talking like 18, some as old as 22. I still consider them the younger folks. And then sometimes I reach these 13-year-olds, 15-year-olds pretty regularly on chat roulette and other places online like younow.com. And they're all way more open-minded by default. And yeah,
I agree.
I've turned them from moon believers to, wow, something's not right now. And I love that, man. I'll give myself a pat on the back every time. The crowd goes wild in the chat.
Usually I'm talking to older people. Yeah. So I agree. Yeah. The younger people are more, they're more open-minded. Yeah. Yeah. The older people, forget about it.
Mostly.
But I don't know. Yeah, I mean, because like there's in the community, anybody that's in the flat Earth community or truth community that it's because they really get it and they're open minded. But a lot of people are just happy with just being, going with the flow and whatever, and so they're not going to change. But yeah, the younger people, it's nice that they're waking up. I don't know if they do a whole lot of research, but they are open minded to it.
Yeah, I've actually come across a group of, it was three girls, and they were all, I guess, having a sleepover or something. And they had to be in 15, 14-ish range. And as soon as I asked the moon landing question, it was a resounding hell no from all three of them. And I was like,
Yeah.
whoa. And I said, well, why don't you? And I played, like I was a believer for a second. I'm like, oh, wait a second. Why y'all don't believe in the moon landing? And they were like, oh, it's BS. They started going on about the flag moving and the shadows in different directions. And I mean, I almost fell out the Tesla. I was like, wow, this is beautiful. I said, I can't believe it. That they were so young and they found so much. They were hitting facts like that. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is great. You guys are so smart. Keep it up. And then I started hitting them with some flat earth stuff and they got very intrigued. And I live for that, man. I got to get that video again because that was a really good one. Got to save it somewhere. And make a highlight.
You say that Anne Pearson's Space Monkey just went past on your screen.
My talking points. Yeah, somebody asked me about that. What's that for? And I was like, oh, didn't know they sent the monkey in space? I mean, no, most people don't know that.
I think your point with everything in the background is that it's all a joke, the whole thing. That's what the background's about, isn't it?
It's a joke and it's a talking point. It's a way to get talking points. You'll see the space bubbles pop up every now and then. You'll see, what else is a good talking point? Well, I have a bunch of them, but I honestly can't think right now. Well, the Earth goes by, and I can get to tell people that at least that this is exactly what it looked like. Oh, the stars. The stars disappear and come back. There it goes. Yeah, it comes pretty regularly.
There you go.
But
yeah.
when the stars go out, and I'm sorry, let me finish this though. When the stars go out and come back in the background, like right now they're here, but at some point they're gonna start blinking out like a video game, and then they go out, and that's a talking point. I'm gonna be like, oh, by the way, did you know half the astronauts say that they see the stars, and then half say that it looks like blackness, and that's like, whoa. I said, how do you screw that up? How do the astronauts screw that up? And that gets people thinking right there too. But there's just several things that are talking points, and I'll see another one as time goes by. So, oh yeah, what about this?
Hey,
I was gonna say,
Star Wars. Horry, CPO. What was he? Was he gold, or was he gold with a silver leg?
That's another talking point that I discovered as a talking point for the Mandela effect. I have now I can't remember what leg mine has. I don't know if it's both gold legs or not, because I think it's both gold legs, but I've pulled up pictures where one's a silver leg too, several places. So yeah, but people ask me about that.
So are you saying one leg was silver or both the legs were silver?
One leg was silver on one version of the C3PO, and then the other version, I don't know if it's the more popular one or the real one, but it's got two golden legs. So there's two golden legs, and then there's one of them with just one silver leg, not two silver legs.
Interesting. Hey, I was going to say, whoever I saw the baseball flying out there, whoever hit that baseball out there must have been on steroids. I tell you.
I say this is where the dolls go when you can't find them. Okay. And then they got groups of them. They all tend to like orbit each other in clumps too. You see that? But Charm Fear is gonna be floating in the background. She requested that she be flying by. I'm gonna put D Marble in his van at some point. He's gonna be flying by.
There you go.
Yeah, so that's the kind of stuff that's coming through the pipeline. As soon as I get there, I'll get some time to do it. There's a few other things that are good talking points in the background. I just can't think. There's my lovely logo.
Clouds? Your clouds?
Oh no, that's just actually part of the background. That this is a real star background, like a time lapse that somebody took, and they must have had real clouds go by. But it just adds to the effect up here. It's kind of cool to see those little flashes of clouds.
No, anyway, it's like more like like your news desk. picture behind you's got clouds all mirrored, all the fake clouds.
I'm having a lot of trouble hearing you. Could somebody tell me what Karen said, or could you repeat it?
Oh, I just said your news desk has clouds.
Yeah, I have a my news shot right here is the talking point is right behind me. When people say, "Well, Earth is a ball," we got pictures of it, and I'm like, "Well, how do you get a flat Earth when you send up a camera as high as it can go with a balloon until it pops?" And those balloons go 3 times higher than a commercial airliner jet. I mean, they're up there 120,000 feet in the air. It's flat unless you send a GoPro lens on a camera, and then people say, "Why does that make a difference?" I said, "Well, GoPro has a fisheye lens, and it's going to make it look round up there, lickety split. But what they don't tell you in those same videos is it also looks like a ball 10 feet off the ground." And when people realize that, that's just another thing that really gets the hamster spinning. That's why one of the first videos I made on my channel was the fisheye lie, and it shows you how if you got a fisheye lens camera and you could be pointing it straight, and everything will look level. As soon as you move it up or down, stuff's going to get a ball shape or a concave shape. So, people don't know that. I mean, we just believe in all these videos and people sending balloons up. Oh, look how beautiful our ball-shaped Earth is. They don't stop to think. No, you stick a regular camera on it, that sucker's flat. And then, if that's not bad enough, you get the 360 camera, the one I can see all over, and still flat. It's perfectly flat. But people go, "Oh, well, anything's going to be flat if you take a panoramic." I'm like, well, okay. Well, the next argument you're going to have is if you're up there and you're on a ball, if you're high enough off the ball, the horizon's not going to be at eye level anymore. If it's a ball, you're going to have to look down. You have to look way down. I mean, people, that's another thing for the next echelon of intellectual people. Like, they'll start thinking, oh, that'll get them thinking. If they're a little bit smarter than the average bear, that should get you thinking, because I could show you CGI, CAD rendered, imagery that states that case pretty easily. And I like to do that too. My clouds?
Show Steve your yeah.
What clouds?
Well, it's on our Hangout. You have the double clouds. The same clouds here and the same clouds there.
My proofs. Okay, yeah. So yeah, this is what I was just about to say. If people don't believe anything I'm saying while I'm talking to them, the beauty of this setup that I have here is I can pull up my picture, my folder of stuff, and I type in cloned, and it'll search my folder, and then I can double click it and say, all right, well, let me play Weatherman for you for a second. Do you see anything similar with this red square compared to that red square? And then people are like, oh yeah, it's the exact same cloud formation. Yeah, it sure is. And I point to all the other ones, and it really, that gets people immediately. It's very, very tangible, So same thing with the CGI video of clouds being reused and all. I'll whip out a video. I'll show them space bubbles right now. Boom, boom. And this is what I do, on Chat Roulette and other guest stream platforms like younow.com.
Yeah. What's interesting is that they always say because it's too big that they have to take all the different photos and piece them together. You've heard that excuse, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. I'll say that about
curious
this.
Why, I'm curious to know why they just don't fly something to the moon and take a picture from there, since supposedly that's where the Earth is small enough from the moon, from all the other fake photos that we see, where they can get the whole thing in there. Do you know what I mean? It's like from the moon you can get the whole moon in there. The whole Earth in there, but for some reason it's too big for them to take photos of, so they have to piece everything together.
Yeah, right. Well, we have a video of Earth, the Earthrise video now. Have you guys seen that one?
I don't think I've seen that.
Yeah.
All right, watch this Earthrise video. Let me see. I know I have it. I'll find it here while I'm talking. But yeah, what the problem is with that is the moon is perfectly stationary and the Earth is rising up, and that I don't know how do you do that? Do we have
because the moon's supposed to be a ball as well, so everything would be revolving both sides.
Well, there's a lot of problems with it as far as the angle that we should have been able to get that Earthrise picture, and we're not actually viewing the moon in front of us at the right angle to be able to see what's being shown. That's a big problem that I think Globebusters pointed out. But the bigger problem is the moon is perfectly stationary. I mean, if we're a satellite orbiting over the moon, we're gonna be going over the moon, and the moon's gonna be slowly doing something, but it's not. It's perfectly stationary. It's like we have a tower built on the moon with the camera, and we just get live feeds of Earth. Well, that's cool, but no, that's not the case. I have a big problem with that footage.
That's the Earthrise.
Yeah,
but actually, but the moon's in a free fall towards Earth, right?
I think so, right? It's always slingshotting around, right?
Yeah, it's the free fall, whatever that means.
Yeah. So
I always think about that song. Yeah, that Tom Petty song comes to mind when I think of free fall.
Wouldn't it be the worst ride of your life?
Yeah, you can have it.
I think what it is, in a sense, right, with the rotating different directions, two go with the sun and one goes anti-clockwise with the moon. And actually, they're telling us that we're evolving at 1,000 miles an hour at the equator. But I mean, in reality, when you put that with the speed that we're supposed to be doing with the sun and then in the galaxies and whatever then it's like 260,000 miles an hour. That's like about Mach 80. We'd never be able to survive it. Sodding if we've got gravity or not.
You know what I found out? Not found out, but I've realized that I think the reason why people just go along with this is maybe because they just don't care, right? Like, it seems like, because if you really sat down and thought about this stuff for a minute, you would say, oh, this is bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, you would be like, okay, the moon's in a free fall towards Earth while we're spinning around the sun, going through the great contractor or whatever, at so many miles, and it sounds ridiculous. I think if anybody actually sat there and thought a minute, they'd be like, yeah, this is kind of silly.
You know what? I want to correct myself. That moon video I'm going to show y'all right now, the moon is actually moving. But what I had a problem with is how fake it looked, and I forgot how fake it looked until I seen this again. But check this out. Actually, let me do it the right way here. All right. This is I gotta replay it now. Hold on. Come on, technical difficulties now. Come on, get there. All right. So here's the video. Moon's going over the, over the Witchmadinky. I mean, the satellite's going over this moon, and here's the Earth. But, if you're a video gamer, you're looking at this moon, and the texture that they used, it's so bland. There's really no texture at all on this moon. It's like a bad, low polygon count, low bit rate texture. It's just terrible. But I'm not sure if we're going to see the actual horizon change as much as it's doing. You see these little hills and valleys and whatnot coming from the horizon. But we're not moving that fast. It's just like, it's so fake. I just can't believe people buy this, man. That looks like a fake Earth. There's no way. The clouds aren't moving on that Earth. It's a completely static Earth. No, I just can't. I can't buy any of it. But this is from the JAXA satellite, the Kaguya Full Earth Rise HD TV on April 5th, 2008. I don't know. It's an uphill battle. That's all.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Karen, what did you think about the PBS video? Did you watch Bob's show? It was last Sunday, where they were faking that footage of the plane, long distance. It was a long distance laser experiment at first that they said they proved the ball with, and then they were talking about the plane rising and lowering.
Oh yes,
remember that?
Yeah. Yeah.
What did you think about them faking that? Did you see Bob's breakdown on the Globebuster show?
Well, as you've talked about it, just tell people what he said then.
Oh, so right. So I'll have it in my folder. I can show everybody real quick. But let me pull up my notes. I wasn't prepared to actually do it. But I have it right here in my notes. So I can skip exactly to the part. But they had a laser experiment. PBS TV was going to do this, and they had a couple of people out there to control the laser and aim it at this boat target, and they said that the laser was beginning to get real high on the target, and that proved the ball Earth or whatever. But the problem is when they had the plane footage. Well, first of all, I mean, all that laser thing was they didn't have it level. Most likely, it takes a whole lot of work to level the laser, as we know. But with the airplane footage I'm about to show you, they actually masked footage. They took, and half the screen is a completely different video than the bottom half of the screen, and it's going to make you, I don't know, never believe anything they put on mainstream TV. Watch this. It's here we go. Commercials. Sorry, guys. Okay, it's not letting me skip the ad. Oh, that's wonderful. There we go. So here's Neil deGrasse Tyson talking about it right here. You guys can't hear the audio, but let me skip to the. Wait, no, that's the wrong. Sorry, guys, that's the wrong thing. Two links on there, and I wasn't reading.
Wrong footage, then, Horry.
I don't know. Oh, I'm terrible today, guys. This is the hardest I've had to do. So here he is. Can you see this? Okay. So this is the bottom footage. Take note. The bottom footage and the top footage right here are the same exact videos, down to the wave formations. It's real hard to see, I know, because it's secondhand, and I could tell me if it looks okay if I blow it up. Does it still look okay to you guys? All right, so you see that there's a helicopter in the bottom video, but at the top one, there's no helicopter right there. But look at this black stuff here. That's birds flying by. They were coming from left to right. And for some reason, they felt it necessary to fake the helicopter and keep this bottom view of the video exactly the same, down to the same birds that flew by and the same wave formations and everything. But look what he's showing you. If he's going to he's going to take and change the opacity in another picture here in a second. It's going to really prove it. I think he's doing it right here. Yeah. So there's the plane disappearing, and everything else is staying exactly the same. You guys see that? Exactly the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nail in the coffin as far as that video goes. You know, that did it for me. That's PBS, guys. You know, mainstream. That makes sense. You see what happened right there, huh?
It's a bit sad that they've got to just lie completely to pretend and crap like that, isn't it?
I don't even know why they would have to do that. I mean, why use the same bottom footage? Just change the bottom footage and nobody would have ever caught this. I don't get why they had to screw up like this. It's almost like they want us to know. And that, you know how they always do that to us too. The hell?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Can I say something? Sorry, Steve. I'll let you go in a second. They've made us believe that we're on the moon, right? They've convinced us, even though it's all rubbish. They don't care. Most people are going to watch that and believe it.
Right. They're going to eat it up. Eat it up. It's crazy.
Sorry, Steve. Carry on.
Oh, no, I was just going to agree with you. Yeah. I think there might be some people out there that maybe have a conscience. There might be someone that's putting together saying, okay, we're going to do this, without the producers knowing. Or they're trying to catch how long people can will believe something. You know what I mean? Like, until you figure out exactly what's going on. But I think after a while, somebody's going to get fed up and say, okay, we've lied about everything. I'm waiting for that time, because it seems like a lot of things are getting exposed. I'm just not sure how much longer this one's going to take before people just, realize, or until whoever knows something. Or we may never know. This might just be one of those type of arguments that go on forever. Because it seems like as long as people are arguing, we're doing what they want to do. It seems like that's just a natural thing, whether it's the shape of, the world, religion, politics. So it seems like there's always chaos going on. So, and I think they're just, keeping this going on as long as they can.
They've managed to fool us for many years with the NASA thing. I mean, it's
Right.
2030, the paused astronaut. People would have watched that and still not noticed one of them was paused, even though they're supposed to be live.
Right. But I mean,
So it's
like
just
I
a
said,
bit
there's
of footage.
people. Yeah, there's people that believe there's a Tesla out there right now. So they still got a few people fooled.
Yeah, it's Horry. Yeah.
I mean, it's so sad. It's so sad that people, one of those things that really makes people think when I ask them, do you believe in this Tesla launch? And then they, oh, yeah. I was like, why do you believe in it? Oh, just because, yeah, why not? A lot of people say, well, why not? And I'm like, did you know the CEO got back to his press conference and the first thing he said about it was, it's real because it looks so fake. And that really makes the smarter people stop and go, why would you even say that?
But you know what? I think that people like the idea of, because this, it's all like magical to them, right? Like I think you're like I like when I was younger, even though I never believed in space and aliens. When I was a kid, I thought Star Wars was fantastic. Battlestar Galactica I thought was great. I never was really a big Star Trek fan, but the few I watched was okay. So I think people like the idea of there being something out there. To the point where it's almost like another religion, right? In the sense that they argue about people like this. Like I'm cool with people, thinking whatever they want, but it's like when I see people, like I'll see debates going on with people that are atheists and people that are believers, and it's like, to me, if you're, trying to make fun of a Christian for believing in a God, and if you believe in a Big Bang, it's the same thing to me, right? You believe in something. If you believe that we live on a spinning ball, flying through space, to me is just as, without any solid proof, is no different than you saying to someone that's Christian or whatever religion, saying that there's no God. You know what I mean? To me, it's the same. It's just their way of believing in something without making it sound like it's religion, but really it is. Kind of like Scientology or something else, right? And I think people want to hold on to the idea of this space just because they liked it, because because it ruins their whole thing. Oh, Star Wars isn't cool anymore. You mean this? Star Trek's not cool anymore, because there's a whole fan of people that are based around this that also believe in the moon landing because they want to, not necessarily because they think it's true. It's because it goes along with the stuff that they go along with and agree with.
I met Martin Leakey and who else was there? Nathan Oakley was there. Went to the Space Centre. Met the guy comes on our channel sometimes. And listened to the parents. Everybody's in love with the.
Is it just me? I can't hear Karen at all. She's like underwater.
Yeah. Yeah, Karen, there you go.
Yeah, it's just my internet. Sorry. Just saying, I met Martin Leakey the first time at the Space Centre in Leicester. We went there just to be talking about flat Earth and bunch of people. But listen to the parents. Everyone's in love with it. But it got us in love with space.
Karen, you're going in and out, love. It's so bad I can't hear what you're saying, dear. I think it's the microphone, though. I really think we got to get you a new mic.
Just saying, they've got us.
There you go.
They've got us all believing that, they've got us in love with space. That's what they've done.
Mm-hmm.
Right. No, I agree. And it's a market, like you say, it's $1 billion market. So they're not going to do anything to jeopardize the money that they're making.
That's another thing. That's totally another thing. I just want to tell everybody right now, check Facebook. Go to Facebook right now. It's completely down. I've never seen this before. It's got a message, sorry, something went wrong. We're working on getting it fixed as soon as we can. Somebody snapped Facebook.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's
Wonder if
back.
that's going to make headlines. Is it?
But I saw it momentarily. I saw what you saw.
I still can't get in and over here. Still not
It's
working
on
for
my
me.
phone.
Okay, or did you just say something's going on with Facebook? Is that what happened?
See if you can browse your Facebook right now and do something. I can't get to it on 2 different browsers.
Are you noticing a lot of people not using Facebook as much anymore, or is it just me?
They'll say that they aren't going to use it or they're leaving, and they always come back. That's what I see. Facebook
Right.
is a tool. It's a spy tool for the government to spy on us and collect a whole lot of data. But it's a tool if you're a truther or a marketer, or if you're not using it for marketing or research or networking with those people, like using it as a tool. Like if you're just using it to connect with your friends and family, I would get off of Facebook right now and go somewhere else, go like to Minds. But if you're really just trying to reach an audience or sell stuff like that, Facebook is you got to utilize it because everybody's still on it for the most part.
You know what? I think I don't like, for example, like all the social networks. I don't have too big of a problem with it, just because I understand that that we're the product, right? Whenever you use a service that's for free, we're the product, right? Because they don't charge us a monthly fee, but they got all our information. So really, for them, in return for us using their service, they get to advertise to us and use their market. Use us to market their products to. So I get that. The thing that I'm not a big fan of is them silencing people. You know what I mean? For the speech part and talking about this community stuff. I mean, if you're going to be marketing to us anyway, just let people do what they want to do. But I understand that if we don't like it, we can always go somewhere else. Like this whole thing with the Alex Jones thing, I think it's kind of messed up what they did. But I think at the end of the day, too, you got to have. I think these should be just tools, and you should have. If you're somebody like Alex Jones or somebody else, you should have your own website too, and your own broadcasting, even if it's a smaller level, just so people have a alternative place to go to. Should go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think he does, doesn't he? I know he's got his website, and he might have his. Yeah. I think he's got several other platforms that are still up. So
he does. He does. Yeah. So I think, because I know a lot of times people were fighting like, oh, why did Facebook or Twitter or YouTube do all this? Is at least he has a backup plan that people can go to if they're looking for it. They are a little stingy on the rules, but I guess that eventually we're going to have to somehow get together collectively and start something of our own that people can go to. Where you can speak the way you want to speak without having to be silenced. I think that's the whole thing I learned out of this whole thing, seeing people. I have a lot of friends, just like we all do, Facebook friends and so on, that always get in there. They're like this 30-day ban. I just got out of Facebook jail and all this other stuff. You know what I mean? And it's like, so people go to MeWe or other places where they feel that they can say what they want to say. But then there's going to be a time where MeWe gets popular and they're going to want to start selling ads. And then the same thing is going to happen. Then you're going to have to go to the next person and so on. You know what I mean? Unless there's
perhaps they could sell out to a company that doesn't want to do the MeWe thing anymore. That's usually how that ends up happening.
Right. Unless you pay like a monthly fee, then you could do what you want to do. But then they might not have as many subscribers. So the whole like silencing thing, I think eventually a lot of us will probably just end up having our own main stuff. And I like to see more of that, where a lot of truthers have their own stuff that we can go to, so we don't have to worry. Because there's a lot of stuff that I see and I'm like, oh, what happened to so-and-so? Even on YouTube, and they're like, that even happened to Russian Vids, right? One of his main channels got, taken down and so on. So yeah, I'd hate to see that. And there was a time where I thought about, man, I had all these great ideas, and I was like, I would feel upset if I put a whole bunch of work behind something and then it just got taken down. I'd have been like,
look at Joey Rocha right now, man. 3 years.
Great guy.
3 years of work. He can't. He's gone on Facebook. Like they completely shut his Facebook and YouTube down at the same time, from what I understand. I haven't heard from him in days. But to combat that, we're looking into what You've Been Exposed is doing. He's going to start his own YouTube platform in a sense, open like discussion, no holes barred, say whatever the hell you want. I guess within reason, you know. Yeah, I'm liking where that's going. It's going to cost a hell of a lot of money. I wonder what he's going to do to fund it, but he says he's going to come up with, I think, $1,000 a month of his own money to get it going and to pay for the I guess beginning membership of whatever this hosting site is. So that's going to allow him to do this, but that should be interesting. I mean, I think the only problem there is the only way we're getting our truth out is because we're, like I was saying earlier, utilizing platforms like Facebook and YouTube as a tool. And YouTube is so much bigger. We'll put something on there and it'll get thousands of views. But if you start your own new platform, you can put anything you want on there and nobody's going to see it except for what's going to be other truthers that already probably know it, or maybe we'll be networking. That'd be cool and all that. But you're not going to reach fresh eyes. You're not going to wake fresh people up.
I agree with you.
So, you know, you got to figure out what good is it really? You know, if it's going to be a huge project and cost a lot of money, like, is it going to be worth it? And I hope it is. I hope there's something, you know what, I didn't read too much into what he's doing. I kind of heard the gist of it. But maybe he's got a deeper vision with it, but check it out. It's You've Been Exposed. He was broadcasting from Propaganda Untold, his other channel. I don't know if he says his wife lets him use it.
Oh yeah. That's the Dread, right? Big Dread.
Yeah. Big Dread.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was telling a few people a while back, and I wish I would have got to Joy before they took his stuff off. I think that sometimes when you have, because we all know each other, and for the majority of the stuff we agree with anyway. So I think that if you're just posting something to all of us friends, and jeopardizing getting all your stuff shut down or taken down, I'm not sure if that's the best idea. If you're reaching new eyes and changing new people over to see your point of view, I think that's fantastic. But if it's if you're getting shut down just for sharing stuff that we already know, I think I'm not a big fan of that, just because we already agree with you anyway. So I agree with there's got to be a way where we can reach fresh eyes without getting shut down. That's the way to go. Because like Joey's a fantastic dude, and the fact that I can't see his stuff right now is awful. You know what I mean? 3 years worth of work gone. And is it like his final? Because he's been banned a few times, right? Is this like his last thing? Like, I'm not sure how many bans you get on Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah, but they're not linked, are they? So why banned from both of them?
Well, from what I understand from the internet and technology and how these platforms link, I mean, you ever been to a page that said if you were going to create, like, say, a new, I don't know, YouTube account, or I think Twitter does it. Like, you set up a Twitter account and it'll say, okay, do you want to give us your email for a Twitter account, or do you want to link your Facebook account to it and just pretty much log in like that every time? And so I think if you went to YouTube, maybe somebody can maybe pipe in the chat and see if YouTube does the same thing when you try to make a new account. And so if he clicked his Facebook login button to make an account on YouTube, maybe that's what cracked him on both accounts to, you know, at the same time. But it's not far, it's not out of the question, but it's still weird, even if they do it like that, because Facebook is one entity and YouTube's another. But, you know, if he did link it, maybe the problem is, since his Facebook account is gone, he can't use the login to Facebook button on the YouTube, because you see where the disconnect there is in the technology.
Oh, okay. So
that might be the case. So that's why I don't use the login with Facebook or login with my YouTube button. I just give him my email and do it that way. Because if that happens, what you gonna do? I think that's might have been what happened. But he didn't have anything on YouTube, so it doesn't matter. I'm pretty sure he can make a new YouTube account and probably a new Facebook account. No, I'd probably be taking a break right now if that happened to me, you know?
Yeah, I think it's good to have a couple of pages just in case. You know what I mean? Like, a few people have backup pages already. That way, yeah, you know, you still have contact with people, because, yeah, I'm seeing that to a lot of people.
Not only that, sorry to cut you off. I wanted to butt in real quick. But not only that, but to just have your stuff in more than one place to get more eyes is a very valid reason. So do it anyway.
So tell me about, 'cause I know you're on Twitch, because I've watched some of your stuff on Twitch before. You know, the light dancing and other stuff. Do you is Twitch pretty strict as well, or?
pretty sure. I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure that they are just. Well, I guess in one way their terms of service says that they're just as strict, but I don't think people are getting zapped off of the Twitch platform for saying the things that they would say on YouTube and get zapped for. Like, it's not happening as fast. But I can't. I guess I can't speak on that 100%. But
Okay.
I just go to Twitch when I do my light show and stuff like that, just as a, I don't know, I was just like practicing that day or something with my I think it was my laptop. So I didn't want it to be like really bad quality and have it put on my main channel. So I do stuff like that on Twitch because Twitch offers me a 60 frames per second video, and that's when I'm spinning my lights. It's better to do that at 60 frames a second rather than 30. So it just looks a whole lot better. Yeah, that's why I was there.
But do you find a lot of truthers moving over to that platform? I know I find pretty good stuff on Discord. I'm not sure if people broadcast on Discord or not, but there's some pretty cool groups in there.
Yeah, there's a channel I cover 24/7 live. Flat Earth Discord is a channel, and you can get in there and pop in their Discord, and they're streaming that mic chat to YouTube. I wanted to say the music thing. Like, I'm much more probably okay with playing any kind of music I want on Twitch versus on YouTube if I'm live, because YouTube I think will cut you off. Like, they might kick you right off of playing a certain song live.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so I think it's safer in that regard too. But I think I might have missed your other question.
Facebook is down, and Jason the Disbury said that Instagram's not working either.
Yeah, you know what? Let's see. I'm on my Facebook, but it's moving slow, but it's up. Let me see. You know what I found out too? Maybe it's on. It could be. Maybe they're targeting the truther page. It's funny because, like, I have two pages right. I have a page that I have family and friends on. Then I have a page that I have more truthers and things like that. But it seems like on the I noticed the difference between having the two pages, because the stuff that I get on oh, okay. You know what? The stuff I get on the truther page, like the advertisement, like, for example, I get friend requests all the time on my truther page from half-naked women and all kinds of stuff like that I don't get on my regular page.
Just send them my way, Steve.
We'll do that.
No, please don't. Oh my God, no, don't.
And I'm like, what's this? Like, yeah, it's like crazy. But on my regular page, I don't get any of that stuff. So I don't know if they're just targeting truthers with bombarding them with all kinds of ads and porn stuff and different things, or what. But it's not cool.
Yeah. On that note, people, don't accept the naked woman friend request. Okay.
Yeah.
There's one yesterday that 56 mutual friends of mine also accepted, and I mean, the only way for me to stop getting those kinds of bots asking me to be friends is if you don't have them on your friends list. Because the more right, that's just how it works. Like, that's once that bot gets on your friends list, it sends a friend request to everybody on that guy's friends list. And so we all have to, like, it's a collective effort to just know not to accept those people. I don't care how cute they are and how many nice pictures you might get from that profile to advertise that stupid sex website that they're trying to get you to buy into. So just stop, because this is the problem. I've unfriended a whole lot of people for not removing their bots. But,
Can I say something?
You know what? I had to do the same thing.
I'm not sure if we're live. It says the video call has ended.
Let me see. I'll check the YouTube right now.
Oh, you know what? It's live on my end.
Oh, okay then. I've lost it on my end. Carry on. I'll just sort it out. Sorry, you carry on then.
Yep, he's right. It's live.
Cool. Carry on then. I'm just on my phone, but I need to go back and go on because I can't stop it otherwise. On the other, I have to go back on my panel. Carry on.
There we go. Okay. But yeah, like Horry said, yeah, don't accept those naked women. Because I go, every friend, when I see there's mutual friends now, if it's a gal, and then you'll see these girls with men names, right? You'll see these pretty girls, and they'll have like guy names, and I'm like, what's up with that?
Yeah, he changed his profile. Like the picture would be a girl. Like, it'll say he changed his profile. Oh, just by the way, guys, this is the vanilla version of the Starman background. If I was the mannequin astronaut. This is exactly what it looked like, except for now the paper airplane and the see-through. Oh, golden legs, 2 golden legs. Maybe I'll stick the freaking silver leg one in there to screw with people's head next time I change the background. That can be a good idea.
Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking that happened. I bet what happened was maybe it was like that in the film, and then for the toys, the action figures and posters and everything else, maybe they didn't like the look and changed it somewhere in the production of the product. Because like you say, if you see the movie, you might have saw that a bunch of times, but if you have the toy or whatever always with you, you see the gold legs. So that's what you're thinking. Because that's what I would think.
I could see that. Or maybe there was a company that didn't want to get the trademark. Oh, what is that? Woo, that was some crazy feedback. It gets better now. But the man, lost my train of thought. Oh, what if it was a knockoff company that was wanting to sell it, but they had to they didn't want to get copyright, stuff. So maybe they made a silver leg, but still, that shouldn't be enough.
Right. Or just for the cost, it's easier just to dip it in one color instead of 2. It could be anything, right?
Oh God.
Yeah. We got to do the legs.
I think we're reaching though. I really do. I think we're reaching.
It's possible, but
I don't want to say. Go ahead.
But I'm saying that just because, like I said, I'm not I never really followed the Mandela thing too much. That's all.
I don't have a foot in that race because my memory is so trash. I can't remember what I ate yesterday, much less if they spelled Fruity Loops with F-R-O-O-T or F-R-U-I-T-Y loops. I don't know. The C-3PO leg thing, I would have said silver leg just because it's just unique. I don't know. So I would have got it wrong, or maybe that's the right one. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe I'll start looking at a couple more Mandela things, but yeah, that was something else. The other thing I was never really too interested in was the airline thing where it's not using fuel. Yeah, I never really followed that too much either.
I watched a lot of stuff on that for a little while there, and I've come to the conclusion, I think, that it must be some sort of there's something wrong with. I do think there's something there. That's all I'm gonna say, because if it's true that they hold that much weight in fuel or that much fuel, and the airplanes are so light, it's kind of like somebody's got to have some information really wrong. They read a blueprint wrong. They read some schematics wrong. Something has to be. But if it's that easy, we should have it. It should have been debunked like long ago. It's something that I'm like, okay, that might be something, and I can see they're trying to steal money from us. All right, fine. Flat Earth's still way more important. Ties into everything else. Right. So I just have to let it go. But I think there's something to it, man. Gotta say something. Gotta say.
No, it is interesting though. 'Cause, I can see how. Yeah, but it was never that big of a thing to me, just because it doesn't change. I'm going to fly regardless. You know what I mean? Just because I have to. It's not going to change my traveling habits, but it would be nice if they can make flights cheaper. But it is what it is.
Right.
See, now we got 2 Karens.
Yeah, what it is that I lost connection on my computer, right? But it is actually much freer and easier for me to talk on the phone. Everybody can hear me.
Yeah, you can. You sound good. You sound really good.
But I need the admin panel to turn the Hangout off. So I've got to keep on, we're going to have to turn the Hangout off. But it is better on my phone. But I do it on the computer, don't I? I set the hang up on the computer. But yeah, so sorry, the feedback was me because I didn't turn the thing off on the Hangout. So it was me going, sorry about that. But anyway, yeah, now you can hear. Isn't that annoying?
It was actually, it totally made me forget what I was talking about, like for 10 seconds.
Sorry.
That was funny.
Yeah, I'm back.
I don't know if I had really much else to say on any of that.
Yeah, you were busy last night, Horry, weren't you? You had you had Bob, you had Bling Bling. Bling Bling was telling me today.
Yeah, that was a really fun stream right there. I had I had a lot of good people on there last night, and then the night before I had Robbie Davidson on and Authentic Intent, and who else was it? Just Jack was on there too, and I think so yeah, it was really fun. I had to set up the new background. I could show you guys that new the Brady Bunch. I took the Brady Bunch and hold on, let me do all these. All right, click. So their orange background and the Brady Bunch words at the top. Well, I just took the same Brady Bunch font and put the Flat Earth Bunch. And here's these blue squares, that they all have their heads on. But one of the scenes in that intro switches to a scene like this, where one of the heads is bigger and all the other ones are over here on the other side. When it says like the father and all of his kids or whatever it is. So I chose to do this one because now I can do a Google Hangout and whoever's talking is going to appear in this one. And I could actually probably do it with this just to test it, show you guys what it looks like, but I'm not, because it's got the link and stuff, but I don't know if that works. Well, it works. I guess mine has the link, but anyway. But all the other icons show up here.
Horry.
And, I get carried away. I'm such a nerd. I get all technical with stuff. But I like this. This is what I was doing, and I needed people to fill up the Google Hangout. And when I asked people, hey, send a link out to somebody that you trust won't get a troll in here, and that's what I got. I got, Authentic Intent and Robbie Davidson and Bob from Glowbusters. And I was like, cool, bling, bling. Yeah, that was really fun.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Oh, I'm in the kitchen.
Oh, that's fine. I just, I don't know.
I thought with my phone I can come down and make a coffee, see? Bling Bling was telling me about it. Just depends what time you went on, Horry, because obviously we're quite a few hours ahead of you.
Yeah, you were snoozing like a baby, I'm sure. Had to be. And then I got on last after that, I flat smacked somebody else, and I was reading my email on the air, and guess who's sending me emails again? Well, IPS. So I don't understand. He's got this fascination with me and telling me to stop talking about him and stuff. And he called in on my show the other day, disguised his name. He was like, I'm Ips. And I didn't put it together. I thought he said, I'm It. Just call me It. And I was like, what? All right. But he was talking flat earth stuff. So I let the call go. But then I found out, I was like, this is IPS. Because I was like, what do you know about penguins? And he was like, I'm just going to go have another beer, Horry. Go get drunk. And he hung up. So I don't know what he's trying to do. Karen, what was that? You said you'd tell me on air about somebody that said I was a shill. What's going on with that? People just think I'm a shill. This is another thing.
Somebody, because of all the symbols that you're using on your background, see you as a shill.
God, is it that easy to oust somebody? Because, maybe they don't get my humor. Not that my icon is very funny looking. It's just the Horry Sheet Show. If you don't know what that means, I love Asian people. So I'm going to say that right off the bat. Asian people are my favorite culture. But I love how when they speak the English language, they kind of butcher it. And they're my favorite at butchering languages. So when they say, holy shit, if something I'm saying on my show is gonna surprise you so much to say, holy shit, what did he say? Well, I don't want it to be the Holy Shit Show. So it's the Horry Sheet Show. And it's how the Asian people say, Holy shit. What? What did you say? Horry sheet. So
I think that's the point, isn't it? Because that's what you're saying.
And then the hat is, it's not an Aleister Crowley hat. Believe me, I didn't even know Aleister Crowley had a freaking hat like this, or I would never have made the logo like this. Just would not have done it.
He may have gotten that from the Asian culture. You know what? I was on a show list too a few weeks back. There was a list of people, and then I was on there, and I was like, whatever. That's the one thing I hate about the community is this jumping to calling people shills for whatever reason. And I'm not a fan of the symbolism stuff. I don't believe that stuff at all, even though I understand what it is and I know enough about it to know that it's just something that I don't believe in. Like sometimes somebody might go, okay, and it's like, oh, you're doing the 3 6s or there's double, and it's like, I think that's the least of what's going on in the world, the least of all the problems, to be worried about hand symbols and gestures and other things to make a big thing about it.
There's a time and a place, and you have to have some intuition or some what's the word here I'm looking for? Intuition is great, but not going to even say common sense. I'm sorry, I threw you off track, but people have given me hell about hand symbols too, and I don't know that I'm even doing it. People hate me for several reasons. They think I'm sponsored. I think I have people, a big company paying me to do what I do and to get drunk and do streams that I do and get on chat roulette and do one-on-ones and I mean, like, what? Who would be? These people are delusional. I think at best they're overprotective of the flat Earth community, and that's cool. I can respect that, but you can't throw people under the bus like without some good hard fact evidence. And it's funny, but I'll get people calling in after I'm done with my show. They'll call me at all hours of the day, and I get the strangest calls now. I do. I get the strangest calls.
But not really the point of your background and what you put on is that you're taking the mickey, aren't you, of the whole thing?
What do you mean? My space background? Talking about this?
Sorry, we can't hear you now.
Oh, you can't hear me?
You're back now. You're back.
Oh, okay.
That's the whole point, isn't it?
Well, I'm making fun of space stuff. I mean, look at this. This is a talking point too. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Karen, I think you're the only one that's having trouble.
It's not just me. Everybody's doing the underwater thing.
Am I sounding bad to you, Stephen?
Hello?
No, I hear you. I hear you really good.
Okay, Karen, that must be your phone. That must be you. Stephen hears me perfectly. Let me check the chat, make sure there's no.
There?
Oh yeah, it's definitely you, Karen. You have the problem.
Karen, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay.
Huh.
Yeah, you went underwater.
Okay.
Steve also went underwater for me, but anyway, we're back now. But anyway, just saying, you're taking the mickey, aren't you? That's the whole point.
There you go. That's bubbles in space. I'm just kidding.
Well, you mean that I'm making fun of everything when you say taking the mickey, right?
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I mean, look, that's another. Sometimes it's me making fun of it. Sometimes that's a talking point. That satellite with balloons. Yeah, I'm making a mickey on it, but really, you can go look at the balloons that are being launched. I mean, the satellites that are being launched with big old weather balloons. So that is a talking point, just like the space bubbles and a couple other things. The stars disappearing is the third talking point, and now they're back. But I'll just tell people, did you know that half the astronauts said they could see him and half didn't? This is just segues into different things. But yeah, and a lot of stuff I'm making fun of. We got the lightsabers and the baseballs and Cartman chasing the Tooth Fairy, shooting him with a bow and arrow for no damn reason at all. It's just my humor.
So I have a question. Are you a fan of science fiction stuff now, or once you became a flat earther, you're not into that stuff anymore, or?
I'll answer that, but I have to go right back right now because I have 2 beers in the fridge. I don't want them to explode in the freezer. I just remembered. That sucks.
Oh, yeah, you better get those.
Be quick.
There you go. So Karen, were you ever
in space?
Oh, let's see. There we go. Oh, there you go. Yeah, he left the car. He must have floated to the refrigerator. You should probably have a refrigerator fly by so he can just open it and grab the beer out of it.
Had to go down.
What I was saying you need a refrigerator to fly by so you can open it up and grab a beer out of it.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Somebody told me I had to get when I have a problem with a chat member disconnecting or something, I have to have an animation of a satellite realigning while I'm different things like that. That's a good one right there. I have to have some rockets come by.
There you go.
I have to have rockets in there. I don't know why I don't have rockets. But I got them working on the ISS. They come by and they're working on the ISS. Sometimes they're coming by and they're like animated and they're like floating. And I'll be yelling, "Hey, yo Larry, yo Mo, Curly." It's Three Stooges. So, Larry, Merlin, and what is it? Isn't that the right names? Who's the Three Stooges names?
Yeah, Mo, Larry, and Curly, right?
Yeah.
And then wasn't there like a Shep or something like that, or a Schlep or something that came in every now and then? Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, here they are. They're working on the ISS right now. Look. Yeah, they'll go by and I'll flip them off or something.
That's funny. I like that.
It's 2 hours worth of random stuff, Stephen. 2 hours worth of random stuff. Sometimes he just comes by like that. But yeah.
There you go.
He's going the opposite way. I don't know how everything else is orbiting one way most of the time, but he's going the opposite way.
Hey, Horry,
Now-
can you show Steve you in the ISS space station?
Oh yeah. I've been practicing my drinking skills in outer space, and as I get to float around on the ISS.
Oh wow, that's pretty good. Yeah, you're pretty good at this stuff.
I enjoy it. I've been doing this for quite a while. It takes a little bit of finesse. It's kind of hard on the knees, but then you grab your little support bar up here, and then you can really float around, and it's more stable.
We got to work on the hair. You need to make your hair stand straight up, and then we'd be good to go.
Could do that, yeah. So I'll go back down in the hole here because it's much easier to sit in the Tesla. Oh, sorry, that hatch is so loud.
Anyway, you've got a great sort of trademark, haven't you, Horry? Sets you out from everyone else.
I'm a goofball. I'm a professional goofball. Just wait till the Death Star comes by and one of the stormtroopers comes out. I got a surprise in the trunk for you, Steven. You'll see what happens. I'm serious. The backdrop, I'm gonna add to it too. This is just look. Karen was inviting me to one of her shows right around the time the car thing was launched, and I just had the idea. I said, I think I can sandwich myself in this car in layers with the software. And I'm like, I'm doing that. I said, Karen, wait, I'll be there in 45 minutes. And I come in the car background. Everybody loved it. But after that is when I added 2 hours worth of fun stuff. So then, the next rendition, I'm gonna add a whole extra hour of stuff and add new stuff all throughout the first 2 hours as well. Just to, I don't know, I'm gonna have a show. Maybe everybody will get to put their suggestions in the comments in the chat. That's what I think I'm gonna do. So yeah, it'll happen.
Yeah, Steve, we've had belly
cool.
dancers.
Uh-oh. Belly dancers in space.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good show.
There
you go.
Let's see if I can show you one of those.
And the mat, which you want to wipe your feet on, the NASA rug.
Yeah. Oh, that's in a different studio. I can switch to that too. That was really fun. Yeah, let me see. Let me go to that studio real quick. I'll blink out for a second. Ooh, I look like I don't know how that happens, but that's always cool.
Yeah, raining.
It's like I'm being teleported there, guys. So just give me a minute, and I'll be there any minute now. Oh.
Okay. See, there we go.
Uh-oh. Oh, here we go. I'm working this out. I haven't used this set in a long time. But yeah, this is the We Lie Like a Rug, NASA rug down there.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Look at there.
Yeah. So I've got a picture viewer. I can do my pictures like that too. This was the old set. So I used to just stand behind this desk and do stuff like that. It's not set up for this anymore, but you can see. But now I'm pointing, I'm like in front of it and I'm pointing and doing all that. But this TV used to, it has different things on it. It's an animation in the TV, and then the rug. But wait, where's the belly dancer? You wanted to see the belly dancer. I think everybody wants to see the belly dancer. Also the bench, watch. So I have R2D2. I mean, C3PO, whatever. Yeah, C3PO over there with the TV on his head. So if a guest comes on, they'll be in his head. And I have different characters like that. He's just chilling on a park bench. I cut him out of some picture. But anybody who wanted to be a guest on here would pick their own character, and their Skype video or whatever would pop in that TV, and the belly dancer. Yeah. But anyway, it's just, that was my old set. My old set.
We laughed so much that night when you turned up in the car.
Yeah, that's great.
Horry said, I thought Horry was just going to have it because you started wearing masks and things, and I just thought, oh, he's just going to turn up in some costume. And then when he came on and we were in the car, we were so laughed.
Yeah, they probably thought I was going to come wearing the Jack Skellington onesie pajama suitsy, and with the mask and everything on it. But nope, I was in the Tesla.
There you go.
Thanks,
Got
Rod.
the Carlton dance. Yeah, got the Carlton dance going up there.
That was a new sub. Thanks, Rod.
Yeah, we saw that.
Rod.
Who was that dancing?
That was a
from
Carlton dance. Yeah.
where's it from? Prince of Bel-Air?
Yep.
That TV
There
show?
you go.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, yeah.
Yep.
Hmm.
That's too funny.
I can
That's
put
why-
any picture I want there when people subscribe, and that's just one of the default ones that they have. I might have like a globe blowing up or something, or a globe being smashed and bleeding, or I don't know, whatever I want to do, or maybe the globe and some spears getting stuck in it and it flats and melts and turns to a flat Earth. Like I can do all kinds of stuff. Yeah. I don't
You know
know.
what you should do at the end of each one of your shows? You should have the vacuum of space just sucking you everything all in,
I could. You know how I could do that? I could.
and make you disappear. You're like, so long, folks, and the vacuum goes.
I could have a transition that looks like some sort of snow blast come in from left to right, and what it would do would lead into a pre-recorded video of me just looking exactly like this and reacting to it. And then in my video editor, I could easily like do a transition where I get sucked into one of the corners, and then you would look just like that. It would look great. Yeah, it's super easy.
There you go. It'd be like, that's all, folks, type of thing, right? And then
I can do it. All right, bye. See you later. I'll see the vacuum of space. It's gonna take back.
Yep. And it sucks in everything. Even the stars go in, and it's just
just black. And then like the static, you know, you could do all that. I could. I mean, I could really put together a skit style, funny show. I mean, look at my pre-recorded stuff, Steve. And if you haven't seen the Flat Earth Digest, not live stuff, it's like episode 1, 2, and 3 were probably my funniest ones. It was as far as where I really spent a lot of time. And then I just started covering so much more, and it became less of a funny skit style thing and more of just presenting the news, because that's what everybody really started watching me for. They were like, Horry, thank you for saving me the time. Like, that's the big thing. I'd watch 4-hour-long podcasts all day long, 4 hours here, 3 hours there. You know, I'd take in 10 hours of content in my first 2 years, first 3 years, really. No, I'm sorry. The first 8 months is when I was really doing the 10 hours, 12 hours, 20 hours a day of research. But I would take all that and condense it to an hour-long show, and it was just invaluable for a lot of these people that didn't have a lot of time. You know,
right?
CFFA.
You know,
Can
so
I
what's
say
going
something?
on new?
Can I say something? Horry
Okay.
was one of I think he was the first person that ever did anything of Sun and Moon. You know, oh guys, have you seen this?
Really?
Whatever it was, channel. You were the first person to make a video. I was so chuffed. I showed it to everyone. Look, we're on here. We're on the Horry Sheet Show.
Yeah, that's cool. I love this. Sorry, good.
No, I saw your show once or twice. I actually liked it. Then I didn't see it much anymore. You should get back to that, because I don't even know what's really going on with the flat. I don't even know what's going on with Flat Earth News anymore. Like, what's happening? You know, I know people are doing things, but it's good to go somewhere where you can see what's actually going on. And I think you have a pretty good thing going.
Well, I do the news show. Like
how often now? Because I haven't been.
It's been every week now. I think I do one every week, sometimes every 2 weeks. I try to do it every week, but yeah, every 2 weeks now is my minimum. Last night it was a good show. It was like it was. You know what? Don't be when you see the length of time of my shows, don't hesitate to watch it still, because my news is covered within the first hour and 15 minutes, hour and 20 minutes, and it's one after another, catching you up. And after that, it's call-in time and random stuff for like sometimes up to 2 hours. But with people like Bob from Globebusters, he called in. I had an open panel with the Brady Bunch thing I just showed y'all. So I just brand new. So it's a whole lot of fun now. I'm just, after I get done with the news, I open it up to anybody who wants to hop in and share something that they're doing on their channel. So it's turning into something really, really nice for everybody that likes the news, everybody who's got a channel that's putting out something new, they can get on there real quick, and they got 60 people to turn on to whatever they're doing. So yeah, it's so much fun, man. This is all my friends. This is all my family. I'm living for Flat Earth. I hope people can see that. You know, it's not a popularity contest. Well, I just want to put this out there real quick. Even it's like, I am not doing this to toot my own horn and look special. I have helped so many people this week with OBS. I've been saying this for a long time. If you want to learn how to do stuff I'm doing, just get in touch with me. I'll tell you what to buy. I'll tell you what you need to do. I'll help you through it. I'll help you set it up. Like every step of the way, like, you know, and I've been doing it all week, and I'm gonna help Robbie Davidson with this 2018 Denver conference. Hey, thank you, Wolfman. Thanks for that sub. I'm gonna help Robbie set up some transitions, and maybe even a commercial. Maybe I'm gonna be in the Tesla for something. Yeah, it's gonna be cool, and I should be going to that one. I'm going to that one. I'm going to say this. I am going to that one. Even if I have to set up a small GoFundMe for a couple $100 to get a little help, I'm going to do it because I'm not making a whole lot of money these days. I had some stuff happen in my personal life, but a lot of people, Robbie already said he's going to give me some tickets. He's going to comp my tickets. So I got that. Blink said she's going to put me in a room with her. She's going to go. So we're going to have 2 beds and stay in a room. So DITRH said he's going to buy me my beer. So I got no excuse. I gotta go.
Yeah,
and I'm going. I'm bringing my glow sticks. I'm bringing my poi. So I'm gonna be performing on the after parties when we all go out and we chill and hang out. I'm gonna be entertaining everybody and giving DITRH some poi spinning lessons. With I have them all right here. These are the ones I'm gonna be bringing, minus the plastic bag. But I got some ball shaped ones like this. Some they're called pod poi. All tangled up. And then the other ones are like stick shaped. Hey, Santa, throw me a game. Oh, he's so stingy, man. But you know,
Santa Claus as well.
Santa Claus back there. He drops his presents when he just B-rails it out of here. I don't know why he's so scared of me. But
I just add something as well that
gonna be
Mr.
fun.
Private Survive has got, because obviously most people know that he did have a heart attack a few months ago. Just started peopleforpeople.life, and if you want to get in touch with him, he's using the email for people. There is another platform. It does need some add-ons and things like that, but People for People is not going to be like Facebook and all the rest. We're not going to be censored like that, and it may take a little bit more time, but there will be another platform.
Oh, okay.
You know what?
Moment, but it needs a bit more work. I mean, I must try and talk to Mr. Thrive and Survive about it and ask him what's actually happening. But whenever he puts out any information now, he always puts peopleforpeople.life, you know, his email.
What I'm gonna do, Karen, is I'm gonna have that fly by. I'm gonna make a note right now on my main to-do list for all my life activities, and I'm gonna have peopleforpeople.com fly by on a TV.
It's .life.
Peopleforpeople.life.
.life. And that was by accident because he was going to go for .com or something like that. And then he thought he'd bought it. There was an extra letter in the People for People and he didn't want it. So he went back and he just said, there's 2 left. There's People for People, whatever it was, and peopleforpeople.life. And we are for life. Perfect.
That's perfect. That's great. I'm going to put a little TV floating by, and it's going to say the website name on there because I have one that says subliminal deprogramming, just goofing off. But I'm also going to have like advertisements. If people want to, have ad space or something on my show, they can throw me a couple of bones and I'll have their website fly by or something in the background, like things like that. I'm going to do for people that have good channels that just want to do it. That's a way for me to get supported too. But yeah, I want to do that for him for nothing. I'm just going to do it. I love that. I love that idea. Totally.
Now, Horry, are you in Texas or Arizona? What part of the country are you at?
Arkansas.
Arkansas. Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
The fellow American.
I have to go to Arkansas one day. My dad was born in Arkansas, but I have never been there.
It's nice up here. There's a whole lot of mosquitoes and a whole lot of chiggers and red bugs and bitey bugs. I swear, I think I am the most delicious man on earth. No, at least I'm the most delicious man in this family. I'll say that much. But anywhere I go, if there's a mosquito, it wants to eat Horry. If it's a bug, look, I went camping a couple days ago. I don't want to show you guys because it's just disgusting, but I have like 50-something bug bites all over my body because my family all went the same places. Everywhere in the woods, everywhere in the creeks, everywhere. We all went the same place. I didn't go off into some unknown territory that nobody else went to. We all slept in the same tent. I'm the only one that got bit. the only one that got bit by anything. And I mean, dude, I'm so
They
scared.
like me too, Horry.
Dude, it sucks, dude.
I remember I was on holiday, right? We were in a caravan in the south of France. I could hear these mosquitoes flying around, and my mum was saying something to me. And then suddenly I could hear, nee, and I thought, it's dive bombing to me, Mummy. I knew it was coming for me. Because I'm the same. They like biting me. It's a certain blood they like, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a certain blood.
This one.
I could be around a crowd and they'll come right for me. I don't understand it. I don't know if you guys can hear the stuff going on in my house.
Okay, it's great to hear children.
It is.
If it's a bother, I'll mute the mic. I don't know if it's being picked up while I'm not talking.
It is, but it's cool, Horry. Can I just say that does Steve know that you do your flat smacking, your Fiverr.com?
Oh, there, Steve. Do you know what I was doing lately with the chat roulette and the YouNow and the Fiverr stuff? Because it's
no,
really fun.
not at all.
Oh man, check it out. So at one time on Fiverr, I was asking people this. I say, for $5, I'll give you $5 to do A or B. A, you can watch 40 minutes of a flat Earth video and then give us 5 to 7 minutes of a feedback video from you. And just, you could, I told them to write notes so they would remember stuff. And so I would do that for $5. We would get 5 to 7 minutes of feedback from them watching 40 minutes of a documentary, like Nature Documentary 2018 by ODD, 200 Proofs Earth's Not a Spinning Ball, those good long documentaries on flat Earth. And I had 5 different good ones for them to choose from. So then the option B was for them to watch 10 minutes of one of them and provide a 5-minute or a 3 to 5 minute feedback video. So they would actually record themselves watching one for 10 whole minutes and maybe pause it and talk about it and comment on it sometimes, or just laugh or whatever. We get to see their reactions, and that was entertaining to watch. Their reactions. And so that was the thing. And then they would pause the video at the 10-minute mark and start talking about the video for a couple of minutes. And that was really cool. We were actually turning people into flat earthers, or at least what was it, Karen? It was like 60%, 70%. I think it ended at like 70% of people were wanting to look more into it. And a couple of them were like, wow, I can't believe it. I think it's flat now. So $5 a pop
of yours, and the guy was going, I just can't believe it. I've got no words, because it hit him.
Yeah. The faces, we get to watch these people's faces and their reactions when they see the Danyang Kong Bridge or whatever, that 100-mile bridge with no curvature, and then people were like their faces, with space bubbles or whatever they watched, and it was priceless, but it was effective. So I took that idea and I was like, that was costing me money. I was getting it funded though from the followers, so that was cool. It wasn't costing me money; it was just costing money. But then I upgraded that, and I think what I'm doing right now is better. So what I'm doing now is I get on chat roulette, and do you know what chat roulette is, Stephen?
I've heard of a couple different ones, or some type of roulette. I'm not sure about chat roulette though. No.
So you get there and you turn on your webcam and you hit start and you get thrust into somebody else's webcam and you just talk with them. And
right.
Goodness gracious, it's a whole bunch of pervs. All right, it's a whole bunch of guys playing with their junk for about 30 cameras until finally it's not that, and it's someone else that might actually want to talk. So Horry has to brave the wangs before I get to the opportunity to flat smack. But when I do, it's like 1 or 2 people that might be in the room and they're freaking out because look at me, I'm in the Tesla, I'm drinking a beer, and they're like, what? They just also had to go through about 30 guys flapping their junk before they reached this. So it's like eye-opening immediately for them. They want to talk, they want to see what I'm all about. A lot of them ask me if I'm a streamer, and a lot of times now I'm like, yep, I'm streaming right now. You want to be on the TV? And they're like, whoa, what? Yeah, I want to be on the TV. So then I stick them up on the TV like this and say, well, go Horry TV. And now they're on there, but it's not scrambled, So they get to wave to everybody. So it's a fun thing for them. And then I start flat smacking them. I start doing exactly what I was showing y'all with the bubbles and the weather, the clone clouds and the bubbles in space and the astronauts. I can just start hitting them. And we get to watch that live. It's me now giving them the flat earth truth bombs. And the audience can help me or, tell me, tell them about this. Or, so much more entertaining, I think, and even more effective because I'm turning people on to looking into flat Earth left and right, doing this. And now let's upgrade it again. I go to younow.com, and that is a platform where it's kind of like YouTube, but it's just smaller. And if somebody wants to, well, I guess you can't put up your own video on there. It's only a live thing. So you just broadcast on there to viewers, and people come find you based on which hashtag you've named your channel. So a lot of people go under the hashtag girls room, and I'll go on the hashtag girls room because that's the most popular. Everybody's in there. It's just bigger than the guys room and bigger than the LGBT room. So I go to the most people, I find the top row of girls and see who has the highest amount of viewers, and I try to guest stream them. I say, hey, I got some cool stuff to talk about. I'd love to do a guest stream with you really quick. Keep it short. Really fascinating topics. Check the guest pick. So now they check the guest pick, and I go like this, and I'm smiling in the Tesla with the guest pick, and nobody else is doing this. You know, nobody's got a green screen on that platform. So it's really funny now I'm flat smacking them just like chat roulette, but they have up to most of the time 20, 30 something, 40 people, but sometimes up to 200 people. Can you imagine 200 people getting flat smacked at once?
Yeah.
Live?
So when you start off with this, that the roulette, you guys talk about anything. You're the one that just happens to bring up flat Earth, right? Like it's of subjects.
Oh, you cut out on us. What you said? I'm the one that happens to bring up flat Earth on chat.
Right.
roulette.
Yeah. Like it's your thing. Like it starts off as roulette for people talking about whatever they want to talk about, and then when they get to you, you just bring up. It's not like they don't know what you're talking about until they get to you, right?
Yeah, I'm always the first thing I want to talk about is
okay, cool.
Space bubbles or whatever. Yeah, that's what I go into right away. I ask them about the moon landing. I'm like, hey, so I want to ask you a couple questions. After I let them know that I'm live, I'm like, so you want to say hi? And I let them say hi. And I'm like, okay, first question: do you believe we went to the moon?
Mm-hmm.
And that sets the stage. I don't know if it's an uphill battle or not. So it's really, really fun to watch. If you don't know what I'm talking about, also open a new tab. Go follow the Flat Smackers Live channel, because I don't want to do that on my main channel a lot. Sometimes I do on the Horry Sheet Show. I'll do on the chat roulette, but it's risky because I'll be just like last night when I was doing it. I was risking it, and these little kids were like, once I hit them so much, you literally saw the cognitive dissonance kick in, and they both looked at each other, and they both kind of was like, all right, we're gonna skip this guy now, because I had no idea what to say about space bubbles and fake pics of Earth. Like they had nothing. I had just blew their minds, and they were like, we want to see boobs. So they skipped me. But when they skip me, I might have a wanker on the screen right there. So I have to be like quick to, you'll see me like frantically scramble the TV, you know? So I do this on the Flat Smackers Live 3 words channel a lot more than I do on the Horry Sheet Show.
So now, so how fast? So as soon as you're talking to these kids and you say you want to go live and you shoot them to the screen right away, does this show up on your Facebook Live, or are you on YouTube, or
brother, I'm on everything. I'm on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, you name it, I'm on it. Yeah, I go to restream.io.
Live, Horry. And you go live on Facebook and you go live on YouTube, don't you?
Yes, Karen. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, simulcast it. Check it out. There's a website called restream.io if anybody's interested in. Yeah, so I pay for it, and what it allows me to do, the payment of paying for it allows me to have a second YouTube account to stream to. So if I want, I can stream on my Horry Sheet Show and my Flat Smackers Live, and also the Facebook. That's what I pay for, is to get it on Facebook, and then Twitch, which is a big platform they offer for free. VK.ru is a Russian Facebook kind of thing. Periscope is big. I'm on Periscope as well, so that's like 5, 6, dude. Yeah, Horry's everywhere now, baby. It's fun. Yeah.
Wow. So now, when you were talking about, paying those people, or not paying them, but they watch like 5 minutes of the video, and they come with the 5-minute or 7-minute response. What are the videos that you recommend people that aren't flat earthers to watch? Like, what are your 2 or 3 go-to videos?
Sure. Yeah.
That would convince somebody.
Let me see. I'm gonna pull it up here. I don't remember the names of them, but I have a little file. All right, and here are the 5 ones. The top 2 I would say would be the Flat Earth Planet Flat Earth 2018 Nature Documentary 2, and that's ODD's channel, one of ODD's channels. And then the other one it's either going to have to be, they're all so good, but I'm going to say that one. And then also Planet Earth, The Ultimate Litmus Test. It's a good video. A Stranger's Guide to Flat Earth, 21 Questions and Answers is a really good one. And then the other two is An Introduction to Flat Earth, 35 Flat Earth Questions Answered is a good one. And then the last one, 200, a lot of people recommend 200 Proofs Earth is Not a Spinning Ball. That's I think Eric DeBay's, maybe, if I'm not mistaken.
Right, or something. Yeah. I know you have the 200 proofs. Yeah, so that's that one. Yeah, the other ones right offhand don't jump out at me. I don't like, because I never watched a whole lot of videos because I never believed it. You know, I was like a flat earther from day one, right? I just never, so I never watched I didn't watch a whole lot of them. Yeah. But so a lot of times I always talk to people, and I'm like, or they'll ask me something. I'm like, man, I wish I could have some good video, like in my, you know. So I'm always wondering which are the best ones. Like I know they're the 200 proof one, but for somebody that doesn't want to sit there and watch a whole bunch of them, it seems like you have, like you mentioned, one with some fewer questions that they might be able to look at pretty quick.
Yeah, ODD's videos are I like his voice. I like how he does his stuff. Yeah, I don't like how he handles some things here lately, but you know, his videos are still stellar. I'll point people to him because he's good at what he does there. That's a good one. Planet Flat Earth nature documentary 2 or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, there's some interesting things. I've been watching some variety of different shows and things like that, and I say I like the flat Earth community. I like where it's going, as long as we stick to that. I think that a lot of times you'll see. I talk to a lot of people, and when I go to a lot of meetups and different things, I think it's great that we are open to a lot of different things. But I think that if you have a flat Earth meetup and then you bring up other things, sometimes people can get distracted. Like if it's a flat Earth meetup, you pretty much want to stick to talking about flat Earth and maybe not necessarily dinosaurs, or if Alex Jones is really Bill Hicks or things like that. Because I've seen that happen at a few meetups that I've went to, and then you might get somebody interested in something, but then if they hear something totally, if they hear another hoax, or if you want to call it that, or whatever, then they get totally distracted, and then you go off course on what you were originally wanting to talk about.
I guess that could happen pretty easily. You're finally around people that don't think you're crazy for a multitude of different subjects you'd probably enjoy talking about, and that's how it happens. And yeah, I could see.
And then then you have some glow people over, and you're talking about flat Earth, and then from the corner of their ears, then they hear about the dinosaur thing, and they're like, "Wait a minute!" And then they're trying to listen to, "Oh no, I think you have to hit them up with like one truth at a time, instead of like so many different ones."
Right.
This thing that you go on, this site, they're quite young, those people.
The Twitch.
Are you talking about? Well, I think she's talking about you now, right?
No, sorry. Sorry, Steve. I was talking about you, Horry, with your flat smacking. You go to this site, don't you? You said the women's one, but they're quite quite young. That's you now, but not everybody's quite young. I just happen to find a lot of people in their 15, 16, 17 range, and a lot of people still my age. There's people older than me on there. I mean, it's a varying degree, but a lot of these people are like 18. That's your probably average. But I do find the 15-year-olds and stuff, 16-year-olds that they're open-minded because they haven't, they're so young, they haven't been inundated with all this garbage that long yet. And I love opening their eyes, because I'll ask them, "Do you believe in the moon landing?" And a lot of times they're like, "Yeah," because why not? And that's all they got. And then those are the ones that I flip off the other side of the fence. They go from one side to the other. By the time I'm done, often, not every time, but often enough for me to love. I'm not gonna turn down the opportunity to reach one of those young people and flat smack them, because it's working, and they're gonna tell their friends. They're not, worried about their reputation so much to sound like they're not worried about sounding batshit crazy at 15. Like you might be a little more worried about that if you're 40 or 50 or 30 or, much older. And you're like, I should probably not mention this to anybody, right?
And that's what I feel like. As you get older, you're a little bit more reserved. Unless you're like me, I think I break the mold. I do not care what people think of me. I just don't. And I'm not like a lot of people from what I know. But yeah, the younger people are fun to talk to. They listen, they sit there and they focus, they listen. And I like that. So YouNow isn't necessarily a young platform, but it's got a lot of people that are open-minded. I found that.
Yeah, you got to get rid of that ego. It's something that I think I can feel with like Steve. He's just a really nice guy. Horry's really nice. Astral, we're not ego-driven. It's not this, I'm going to win and all that stupid crap like the Globe's done.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm happy just to like agree to disagree with a lot of people, and you got to.
Yeah, I agree. That's why, yeah, I'm not a fan of people insulting. Like I said, the Globe, and I've been in the beginning, I was in a few debates, online debates with people and different things. And, I learned a lot of stuff. And it seems like the people that really hold on to the Globe and the heliocentric model, they really get hurt. I mean, the insults, it's just crazy. All of us that experienced it. And I'm like, man, what's this all about? Because I go to like groups of people. Because in the town of, I'm in northern LA County in the Antelope Valley, which consists of like Lancaster, Palmdale, and some other places, and it's huge for the aerospace industry. I mean, matter of fact, just about a mile or so down the street, there's like a little satellite NASA office. I mean, that's how big this town is when it comes to aerospace. And then Edwards Air Force Base is maybe like just about 20 miles away from here. So you have that going on, and there's all kinds of defense contractors and other stuff going on out here. So people are really in the aerospace and things like that. So when I'll hang out with these people, and I mentioned one time at a meeting that I didn't believe in the moon landing, and I don't believe that Earth is a spinning ball traveling through space, and they were like perplexed. It was crazy.
What kind of meeting was it?
You know what? It was a meeting of people it was a free thinker meeting. The group is called Free Thinkers, but it's I think free thinkers is code for atheist, and that's okay. You know what I mean? I think free thinkers just sound nicer, and I was like, well, let me go check these guys out, and I found it just interesting how they were like, what are you talking about? And then they were just talking about all kinds of things, and then they were talking about, yeah. I think one of the guys said, people have their own views, but some people, I think they were trying to say something to the effect that flat earthers or other truthers feel like they have information that they don't have.
Can you repeat that? Repeat that last part. I didn't quite hear it.
Yeah, they were the guy who was heading the group said something to the effect that people like to think they have information that other people, like flat earthers and truthers, feel that we have information that other people don't have. That's why we like these ideas, or something to that effect.
Oh, like an ego thing, like we feel better and more. Yeah, like we're better than you because we have so much more info that you're apparently not taking in or you don't believe,
right,
and so we're special.
Yeah, and I was just like,
frustrating.
Yeah, I don't like. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's like, no, I don't think that at all. I just think I just don't believe. I just don't believe it. You know what I mean? It just sounded silly to me when I first heard.
It's wasting more time, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like it just doesn't make any sense. You're not, but flying on a ball through space. It's like it just doesn't make any sense. It's not like I don't believe things just because I don't believe them. It's just if it sounds silly and doesn't make any sense, then I just don't believe it, and you can come up with all kinds of cool explanations and throw gravity into the mix and stuff like that. Then it just sounds magical to me. It doesn't make me believe it anymore just because there's an imaginary force that holds things together. And
once you know, don't you? Because we don't just believe it, we know it. That's
right. And a lot of people, they go along with this stuff, and I don't know if they really think things through, but I think, I came to the conclusion that I think people like the idea of magic and things because these people that I'm talking to don't believe in God at all. And I'm not religious either, but they'll believe that Earth is a spinning ball traveling through space and gravity and all this stuff. And to me, it's like if if you don't believe in miracles, then why believe anything instead of like picking and choosing what you believe in, right? So
Yeah, they're on another planet.
right. And so that's how I look at things. And I'm like, okay, well, that like I usually tell people, I don't believe in anything. I either agree or disagree. And and I don't have a problem for if people believe in something. That's okay. But at one of the last flat Earth meetings meetups I was with at, I was there talking to somebody who was really religious, and I told him that I don't believe in anything. And at first I think but he's a flat earther though, and and at first I think he felt offended, but then when I started talking to him, I was like, I'm not interested in what you believe in. Just tell me about your experiences. You know what I mean? Because if you experience something that I haven't experienced, I have no right to tell you what you experienced. So if in your experience, if God did this for you, then that's fantastic. But I'm more interested in hearing about the experience than I am about the belief, if that makes sense.
So okay, yeah, totally. Like, yeah, get that.
Yeah, so I tell people this all the time, even when I have religious people talk to me. I'm like, okay, well, tell me about your experiences, and if you want to attribute it to God or whoever, that's okay, because something happens and everybody attributes something to something. So I'm not interested in hearing about the magical stuff. Just tell me how your life changed.
It's a very deep subject, though, isn't it? Flat Earth. It's not just one thing. It's not just flat Earth is a word and everything. When people ask you questions, there's just so many things to talk about, and that's where you lose them because it's just so deep.
Yeah, and I think there's
put it into a word, but it seems to me the only word I can think of is this is quite intellectual. All this stuff. Not everybody's into all that. Some of
right.
us
It is. And I agree with you. See, that's why I think there's a disconnect between flat earthers that are religious and some that aren't. I think that the religion shouldn't be a part of the discussion. Even, I mean, I'm okay with it supporting. I think there's some things that are true in the Bible. I think it's a good book. There's stories, there's poems, there's all kinds of different things in it. So there might be, um, some things in it that might be accurate. I don't know what the people believe they saw or whatever. But I think that if the common goal is flat Earth, I think we should focus on that, whether or not you're religious, and then try to figure out how we can uh, show the world that Earth is flat, as opposed to saying, because just as there's so many different models, there's so many different people that believe in flat Earth. There's a religious aspect to it, and then there's people that aren't religious but still think the world is flat. And somehow we need to be on the same page, because sometimes a lot of people say, "Oh, okay, he must be a religion fanatic because he thinks the Earth is flat." And it's like, no, I'm not religious. Here's my reasons why I think it's flat, or so on. Do you know what I mean? And so there's all kinds of different aspects and so kinds of different models that within the community, people are all over the place. And I think once we find a common ground, I think the movement will go a little bit further.
You do think that people are waking up, though? There's more people waking up. I think the end of 2015, 16 was a big wake up. But people, the flat Earth community is getting bigger and bigger every day.
Yeah, I think it is. And I think that but you have to have a good like what I like about your platform, Karen, is that you're not ego driven, right? You have really cool people on the show, and people are just discussing their views and things like that. Because I've seen channels where people are like, I'm no longer doing this, the community is awful, this, that, and I don't have that many subs anymore, this, that, or whatever. And I'm like, well, what were you in for it? What are you trying to do? You know what I mean? In my head, that's what I'm thinking. um and I've seen this with a few people.
Thank you, Steve. But just also to let people know is that obviously I have my personal view of things, but that's not what this is about. We keep our
Right.
view to ourselves because this is a platform for other people to come and talk and discuss and stuff like that. So in a sense, whether you're into religion, whatever it is, it doesn't matter.
Right.
we're all people and we've got to come together. That's why we're called Family United.
I agree. I definitely agree. But you've probably seen it too. A lot of there's been like, and it's never going to stop. When I see people name calling or doing this or doing that or whatever, it's like I just have to sit there and nod my head, and I'm like, and then I have to say to myself, uh, what's up with this group? Sometimes, people are going crazy, but it's nice to know that there's refreshing people like what you're doing. I think Horry has a fantastic, because I've seen some of his stuff before, and I've been on his Twitch and Facebook Live stuff before, and I think, he has some positive stuff. But I think as long as we keep the movement positive and represent the community well,
Yeah.
It'll go a lot further. Because I think sometimes people say, and you guys are crazy. That's because they're going to the crazy stuff. And you talk about the YouTube algorithms and things like that. And I think if you're doing a search, you might not, just like if you go to the web, right, and you pull up Flat Earth and the Flat Earth Society is the first thing that comes up. It's the same thing with anything else. So if somebody researches it and they see people that looks like they're disconnected, then it's not going to put us in a positive light.
Right. Yeah, we have to be good stewards of this movement, or people are going to look at it like we're crazy.
Can I just say one thing, because the chat room is saying very nice things at the moment, but a shout out to the chat room. I'll just go through some of the names, and if you're quick, then you'll put your name out and I can see it. But Utes there, Nimble Horse, Midic, Plain Permaculture, Ute, I said Ute, haven't I? Araz, Sage, Walter, Horry, he's just put a message in there. If you want me to do a shout out, put your name in the chat room and I will shout it out. Just give them a second. It's Mr. Golden V, Chicky Droppy, yeah, Claudia.
Karen. Next time we gotta do a simulcast next time, Karen. I gotta probably simulcast this to my show just to get another stream out there. It might help people get to your channel. I don't know. Some of my audience.
Well,
it's funny that because I can't.
Each other, aren't we? Well, that's what it should be. Pat's there. Pat's funny. In the chat room. Jerry, carry on.
I was gonna say I can't remember how I came across Karen's channel, but I was going through some channels and I saw this live channel. I clicked on it and liked it from day one. But I can't remember how I got to it. It was just like, I don't know if I can't remember if I was searching Flat Earth or what it was, but somehow it was just like, I was like, Sun and Moon Family United or something. I'm like, this sounds like a real cool thing. And then I clicked on it and I was like, there's some cool stuff. I just liked it. And but we definitely gotta start putting this channel out there more, because it is a fun, and like you say, family united, and I dig that, because that's what we really are.
Yeah, we started off a bit more as a research group, which we still are, and we have people obviously coming towards us. But before Christmas last year, I just thought we've got to go with the people. We can keep arguing about maps and everything else, but we've got to go with the people. And so it turned into, instead of the Sun and Moon group, it turned into Sun and Moon Family United. But yeah, thanks for that, guys. And just one more thing, shout out to Jerry, Reclaim, Flatterpus and Soundleys. More people that put their names in the chat room. Thank you for that. But yeah, we can argue we like, but we're still living here, and it's the people that are living here, and we've just got to come together somehow. They've made sure we all hate each other as it is. That's what the television's about. That's what it's all about. Everything we're looking at,
That's
wars,
true.
destruction, hatred. I go to YouTube, everybody's being arrested, being sent to death row, whatever it is. It's all sort of, it's just anger and killing and murder. It's just horrible stuff. It's just, we need, I don't know. Why couldn't there be the alternative news, all the happy things? So yeah, there's not enough happiness, is there? We're only just seeing doom and gloom all the time. So someone like Horry is great because he's funny.
I try.
Yeah.
I try. I got my props that I do with the chat roulette stuff, because these guys, I have to watch so many guys playing with their junk. So sometimes I get on there with the pop gun, and I just so happen to have the damn pop gun right now. And I'll ask him, bam, here's a guy, he's spanking it, and I'm like, are you about ready to, if you know what I mean? I creep them out, dude. I creep them out, or I'll get there and I'll go, you know what I want to do with that? Cut it off. This big old knife. I don't know. I had a magnifying glass, and I'll be like, hold on. Let me get my magnifying glass, and I'll put it up to my eye. My eye gets like real big. I don't have it right now. My kids just broke it. I'm upset.
Oh, can I just do one more shout out to Let's Be Practical, who's come in the chat room? Keep going. Sorry, just did a shout out to me, so I'm doing a shout out back. Horry, that's really funny. What do they say? Do they think it's funny?
They get creeped out, and some of them laugh, but they definitely skip me after that, because some of them will sit there and they'll just stay and they'll watch me for a minute and they won't talk, and then I'll finally do that and they skip me. I guess I reached that creep factor eventually, but yeah, I don't have much of a response, unfortunately. But everybody loves it when I do that in the chat.
They're all playing in the game, aren't they? In the program and whatever it is, not looking and thinking and feeling. But you are, see? So you're always about 9 steps ahead of them, really, aren't you? Because I've seen that, done that, whatever. And they think it's cool.
What are you talking about exactly?
Those boys, when you got the knife out. Or the pop gun.
Yeah.
You know, it's in your eyes, you can play the game with them. But, you know...
Oh. Yeah, I know what they're there for, and I know that they're intrigued by what I'm doing, and then when I get all creepy, and I'm like, I just do whatever I do. I get the magnifying glass. I'm like, hold on, let me get a better look at that thing that you're messing with. And it just creeps them out.
Oh dear. Hey Horry, the chat room like your pop gun. Can you do it?
Yeah, I was gonna look in the chat.
Where's the pop gun?
Yeah, it's right here. This is from, it's called My Pop Gun. And let me tell you guys, you know what? If you're watching this, My Pop Gun Company, they sent me like 2 different letters in the mail saying, thank you for buying my pop gun. Please leave a good comment on the Amazon review. Well, this is better than that because I got 81 people and I'm going to give it a good mypopgun.com. This is a good pop gun. It works very well. Don't let your dog chew it up. That's the only reason it's got this wire all frayed up. But until that happened, I mean... It's a hell of a pop gun. My son loves it.
Oh, wow.
It's funny. But yeah, I'm probably going to buy the 2-pack. They have a nice little 2-pack for like $25, and I think it's time we all have a pop gun in the house. He loves guns. He just loves guns. It's his thing.
Do you know the other thing as well, by the way, just on like you, is that it is a very deep subject, this whole thing, this whole lie that we're putting. But sometimes we've got to have a bit of fun. Hence, Horry.
You know what, though? You know what, Karen? That has also kind of bit me in the buttocks because I was in. I love me some Bro Sanchez. I like what he does, but I went in there to talk to him and get on his panel, and all the people in his chat, not all the people, but there's a couple people in there that was like, "Oh, that Horry guy. Well, he's so cheesy," and I'm like, "Cheesy." Maybe sometimes, but on the regular, I think it's pretty funny. And but you know, aside from all the stuff I try to entertain people with, I'm not here just to entertain people. But if I'm sitting there and all I'm doing on chat roulette is seeing inappropriate things that I cannot let the audience see, I have to entertain you guys while I'm in that interim. So I do a whole bunch of stupid things to be funny. So, I mean, I don't know, like, I'm doing my best, but yeah, to call it cheesy, to call me out, to hate on me for anything I'm doing, it just doesn't make any sense. You really gotta, I don't know, tell me where I'm going wrong, like, come on.
I agree. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Oh yeah. I don't let it bother me. Oh, another thing I like to talk about. Hold on, guys. Have you seen this yet?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's the first Flat Earth children's book. Granny knows the Earth is round and flat.
Yes, that's a good book.
Yep. It's I like to give everybody a little sneak peek of some of the stuff there. You can't really see it, but yeah, that's all you get. That's all you get. You got to check it out. And that's a children's book.
I've got my copy of that.
Suzanne Borho.
Yeah, comes on Sunday Moon. She's in our group on Facebook. Yeah, she wrote that for children.
This is the kind of stuff that we need to be doing. If you can, if you write books. Oh, my stars disappeared. You guys saw that?
Uh-oh.
Did you see that happen, or did you just not?
Yeah, we saw the bubble.
I saw the bubble. Yeah, the stars like did a little blink, 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 boom, and they're gone again. But that's when I talk to people about the astronauts. You know, see the stars or no? What do you think? It's funny.
The astronauts.
But yeah, Suzanne is a wonderful person. I've talked to Suzanne a couple of times, and she is a very wonderful woman. She's amazing. She's here for Flat Earth, and this is just one of the things she's done that's really going to make an impact. And
she's a real sweetie. She is.
She's a sweetheart. She really is. I love her, and I want to support her. So I'm going to be showing off this book a lot. And if you want to get the book, you know,
we've sent copies, haven't we? She sent you a copy, and she sent me. That's really sweetie.
She sent me 2 copies.
Hey.
I got to brag about that, but I got 2 copies from Miss Suzanne.
That's right. Now you said you have kids, right, Horry?
Yes.
Okay, you have to read it to them.
I'm waiting for, like, you know, I'm waiting for the perfect family night, which is going to probably happen maybe even tonight or tomorrow night now, because the woman I'm with, I'm just going to put it that way, is she's working so much. So it's really hard to kind of have the family time right now. So once it happens,
now, is she a flat earther?
It's going to be special. Yeah, it took about all of, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks for her to become a flat earther. And it took me 6 months of 10 hours a day, 20 hours a day of research sometimes to like even tell her like about it. Like it took me 6 months of research before I even said that I'm researching this stuff right now. It took that long. But then 2 months later, just one more thing hit, and it was a big proof. And I was like, so by the 8-month mark, I was like, it's flat, man. I'm off the fence. It's flat now. Oh my God. And that just changed my whole life. And it didn't take her about 2 weeks after I mentioned it for her to say it's flat. So that was pretty easy.
Yeah, but you said, but your parent, is it your parents, or they think it's round, you said? Or
oh, my mom. No, this is the one that I'm with right now. The woman I'm with right now that I was talking about. But my parents, I don't talk to my dad. I can't wait to piss on his grave. Long story. But my mom, she, it was a few months. It was about 3 months for her to have to watch my show a couple of times, and we'd have a couple of phone call conversations, and I just hit her with fact after fact. Every time I learned a new big proof, I was like, "Hey, Mom, check this out. Like, you know, remember this flat Earth stuff I talk about? Yeah. What about this? And what about this? And what about that?" And now she started, she's a much more outgoing person. So she'll go to like these bars around her place, and she'll be talking to people and training people. She's so much more outgoing than me. Holy crap. But she mentioned some of the stuff that I was talking about. And these people were like, "Oh my gosh, your son is a genius. We know what he's talking about. And if he's talking about that and that and that, he is so smart." And she was for the first time kind of thinking like, wow, you know what, maybe my son is on to something, because she really respected these people and liked these people, and she just felt close and comfortable enough to mention it, and she got a good response, and then she didn't think I was so damn crazy. And yeah, I think my mom's a flat earther now. I'm pretty sure. Okay. She likes to talk about it and mention my show and stuff too. So
wait, now see, you need to have her read the book to your kids.
Hell, I wish I could just get her to visit my kids.
Yeah, see there. What's the name of the book? So it'd be perfect.
Granny knows the Earth is round and flat. Yep. She'd be Granny.
Yeah, so you have to have her. You gotta have her.
Gotta have her read it. Yeah, I get it now. Yeah.
Yeah, and so Horry's doing all that. Steve likes to go to the meetups. So you've met quite a few people at the meetups, haven't you, Steve? Just changing the subject here a little bit. Sorry for Suzanne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, like the first meetup I went to last year was the one they had in Pasadena, where Mark Sargent showed up, and that was one that was in October of last year, and that was in Pasadena. And then Well, not the first meetup, but the first bigger one where somebody that you guys would all know showed up. So he was at that one, and then of course, like Aaron, who's occasionally on your show, uh, he's part of the a flat up. He has a flat up meetup out here called it's him and Sasha. They have a group called It's a Flat Earth After All, and so they have their meetups once a month. And then I went to a couple meetups. The one meetup in Arcadia before the Salton Sea. Um, that's where Skiba, Sergeant, and Patricia Steele were there. That was a pretty big uh, meetup that was put on by a gal who lives out here where I'm at, named Netta. Real good gal, and she put that one together. And then there was the one, actually, it was that one where I had got on because Flat Earth Dude was videotaping and actually was talking to you. He's giving people the headsets, and I was actually talking to you on there. Uh,
Yes.
and then there was another, the last one that they were at Altadena. I was at that one as well. And so I go to those, and then I go to meetups occasionally that we have out here in the LA area. And I missed the one last week, and the one coming up by the beach. I won't be able to go to that one. Uh, but some of the other ones they have, I will try to make it. Like they have a lot of them in Santa Monica. That's where they usually have most of the Flat Earth meetings or meetups. And so I try to make those when I can. I bring my.
Are you busy, Steve? Because you can always, because we're assuming obviously Flat Earth Dude has flu today, so that's why he's not on the hangout. But he's going to the beach meetup on Saturday, and we're streaming it through Flat Earth Dude. I mean, maybe you can come to the panel for a bit.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. That would be because I definitely was thinking about going to my son, the guy's house who they're having it out at. My son, he'll be, matter of fact, in 2 weeks, he'll be 17. I take him to the meetups with me, and he enjoys the community. And everybody loves him when we go. And he, he's definitely a flat earther. When I first took him, he just found it to be really interesting and was like, wow, this is fantastic. And then he found out how outgoing the guys were. And he thought it was even better. He's like, he thought the community was fantastic. And so I usually bring him with me. So it was a good chance that I was going to go. But since I'm going to have my 8-year-old with me that day, I'm just going to hang out here. But I will be on the panel, though. If you have something going, I'll be more than happy to hang out with you.
Well, assuming that nobody's ill.
Yeah, of course.
Bling bling. Flat Earth Dude, whoever else, Patricia, whoever wants to come on, it is going to be quite late for us. And Russian vids.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Russian vids.
Yeah.
I like when he's on. He's just I like how he talks, man. I really like Russian vids.
Yeah,
he's real smooth.
Come on our meets with Flat Earth Dude.
I love what Flat Earth Dude and Dan the Waterman's doing on the Hollywood Strip. You guys seen that yet?
Yeah, Dan channel? He's at a lot of the big meetups too. He usually will show up to some.
Yeah, dude, they're doing some fun stuff on the Hollywood Strip. They're out there flat smacking with Chris Pontius's Flat Earth model on Pancho Pete. They'd stream it, and dude, go check it out, guys. Everybody, start checking out the Pancho Pete chan live. They do Pancho Pete's like 24/7 channel. Okay, it's a Google Hangout. If you get in with the guys, you'll be able to get a link. Or maybe there's a link already. I don't know. I was invited to the group, and I can get a link anytime. So once I don't know. I just made a big enough stink, and people were like, "Yo, hey, you ought to come here." And so I always have a link. I guess if you were something, I don't know. I'll ask people how to get in it if you want. But the cool thing is, just watch what they do. They are on Hollywood. They meet people like the Green Power Ranger. They met Catwoman the other day. They met a guy named Flat Top that was already a flat earther that sang for him, did a little flat earth freestyle. Yeah. You saw that? Oh, it was awesome. And that's what they're doing. They're getting out there, they're getting on the ground floor, popular heavy foot traffic areas and flat smacking people, man. It's great. Good stuff.
Yeah, it's a fantastic. And Hollywood Boulevard is a great place to do it. If you go down there, there's people doing stuff down there anyway. So
Do
Yeah,
you
I
live
think it's
right in the middle of LA, or are you on the outskirts, or what, roughly?
you know, I'm actually probably where I live now. I used to live right in Hollywood, like about 3 minute walk from the boulevard. I live now. I'm like 60 miles away from Hollywood. I'd say about 65 miles away.
I went there once, as I said, when I was sweet 16. I
Would you?
loved it.
Yeah.
Well, my aunt lived in San Jose, and we just went. Oh, she took me loads of places, and everybody seemed more grown up than here. Like lots of 16, 17-year-olds don't go to Pizza Hut together, and if they do, they probably think, oh goodness, look, they're all coming in. Whereas in America, lots of young people go out and have pizza and stuff like that. So it's just totally different. Most people have swimming pools. It's just great.
Yeah.
Go to an ice cream parlor. Oh my goodness, over here we get a few sort of in packets and a 99 whiskey thing that makes when you put your flake in the top. You go in America, it's like there's a whole shop full of ice creams. We don't get things like that here. Well, not many. And so the whole thing was just amazing to me. At 16, it was great.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? LA is a fun time. Do you plan on coming out to the States anytime in the near future?
Oh, money stops me.
Yeah, I know how you feel. I'm interested in going to the UK. I mean, just because I like what you guys are doing out there. That Speakers Square thing you guys got, I like that.
Speaker's Corner,
I
Roxanne
mean,
Glenn.
Speakers Corner, yeah.
Yeah.
I like her too. Yes, they're doing some really good flat Earth activism. Is she with? She's not with John Globe.
No, Roxanne has a relationship already, but they really love Harry. And and as he's off work at the moment and he's doing as much touring as possible, much activism as possible. Anyway, they're all on tomorrow. Roxanne and Harry, they're on tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a real good
Cool.
thing. I wish there was more places. I'm sure that if I just look, because there's a lot of meetup groups, and I'm starting to join a few of them if I can make them more. But I like the idea of having a corner like that where people speak their minds. I mean, you can find stuff like that in LA, maybe on the beach a little bit, but they're just like little. You might walk by, maybe somebody with a stand, and they're uh, telling you about their view. But that speaker's corner thing, I think, is great.
Yeah, it is, and they're going to be going. I think they've been going quite regularly, but they're going to be going once a month to do it because obviously the weather's going to start changing here soon anyway.
Oh, that's true.
Unfortunately, although it's okay at the moment, the weather, it's got a bit nicer again, a bit warmer. But yeah, it's all good stuff. Yeah, it's really good stuff. We all try to do our bit, don't we?
Yes, we do.
We can't all be the same, otherwise we'd be clones, wouldn't we?
That's true.
The richness makes it good, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, I agree.
I'm trying to think of a world where everybody was like me. That's intriguing because I'm such a weirdo. How would that go? I'm a wild card at best.
You know
Somebody
what?
else called me a wild card recently. What's that?
You know what I'm saying, and it's funny. You know what? That's why when there's people that don't agree with what I agree with, like when I was at a party and I was talking to my friends that thought that the Tesla's flying through space and all that stuff, I was like, whatever. You know what I mean? 'Cause I guess it's all right for some people to be different, but I do like them to at least be aware of other views, even if they don't agree with it right away, because eventually they'll look into it. You know what I mean? Because I'd rather you like at least be aware of something and look into it before you shoot it down instead of being like, no, 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 I don't agree. But long as it's been brought to your attention that Earth is flat and so on, at least it got to you. But I don't expect everybody to change. I mean, because I think if everybody agreed on that, then we'd be like, okay, what else can we? You know what I mean? I think there's always like a disconnect between people. You know what I mean? Like not everybody's going to agree on everything, and that's okay. But if you don't agree with something, I'd like to know, just out of curiosity, why. And I think a lot of times, and as we gain more knowledge, I think the more information we get, the more people will believe. Because I think the thing that's keeping everybody from agreeing, a lot of time is like I'll see these debates and everybody's like, okay, well, if you had a model that's better than what's happening now, I would look into it. And I think that's where an issue lies with some globe people. I'm not necessarily, that wasn't needed for me to uh, think that the world was flat. It just, there was a lot of other things that I didn't believe in that led me to that conclusion. And
Do
it
you know
was,
where I think flat Earth is its best, or this whole thing is its best, is when that person knows who they are, because then they don't
agreed.
have to worry about all that ego and all that stuff. If you know who you are, that means that when other people are running around like whatever it is, ants or whatever, you don't have to worry because you're sure in yourself. And I think
Right, I agree.
and so, yeah, and I think a lot of people, I mean, Martin Kenny was on the other week, and he was just saying he thinks that a lot of people are still in shock, those even in flat Earth, about flat Earth, and don't know what to do. And, you know, if you're still in shock and you've still got many issues going on in yourself, all you're going to do is moan about everybody and cause disruption and unfortunately get wrong attention. It's all negative attention. It's still attention, even if it's negative. You know, even when someone gets thumped, it's still attention. It's just the wrong attention. So if you're sure about yourself, then you don't have to worry about a lot of this stuff like that other people worry about.
It's true. You know, Martin's a good guy too, and he's not into really arguing with people about his view and his model. Is like, this is what I think, the way the world works. And I'm cool with that. And so and he's really comfortable, and I think that makes him fantastic because whether you believe him or not, he's going with his model. He's going with what, and I think it's a fantastic, I like that model a lot. That the cosmic, it kind of, when I first saw that, I was like, this is interesting.
A lot of people give him hell about his snow globe theory. He says snow globe a lot, I think, and dome maybe, and a lot of people don't quite want that cat out the bag just yet if you're introducing flat Earth. So I think he catches a lot of flack with that. Did you notice that? Would you agree?
Yeah, you know what? I'm not. Well, see, I just always thought the Earth was flat. The dome thing never came to my mind until the last year or two. They actually started looking at it. But I think that's more like biblical too, right? Like in the spiritual sense that everybody thought there was a firmament or a tent or however you want to describe it. And so I think that's the point of view they're coming from when they talk about the globe.
Consider well, I'm sorry. Let me finish.
No, go ahead.
Well, consider this though. The science, physics might suggest that it does suggest that in order to have atmospheric pressure, any kind of way, there has to be a barrier. And
that's true.
Especially when you consider, well, look how powerful the vacuum of space is. How is it not ripping off Earth's delicate atmosphere? There's like a double whammy right there. So that kind of has me thinking there's a barrier, man. And then you look at,
I agree.
It's like, you got to figure that out, and then you have to dig it deeper, and then you're looking at, well, what's the dome made out of? And people say maybe it's blue obsidian, and then you start looking into the properties of blue obsidian, and you find out it's got some electroconductive properties, and that could explain the meteors. It just dovetails into. I think Joey Rocha was really good at talking about the properties of blue obsidian and how it could be the dome.
We had a researcher on. He was working for an electricity company, and they wanted him to do some work. And so I think he was looking into flat Earth or interested in things like that anyway, but he had to send scalar waves out. And if we were on a spinning ball or whatever, space was endless, then the waves would have gone out and never come back.
Never come back, right?
But the minute he sent the waves up, they immediately came back. So he knew we were in an enclosed system. And what it is he's not even sure what it is, only that there is a frequency up there. There is a frequency. And that's what the scalar waves bounced off and came back.
Some people say is it the troposphere or something? They bounce. They have these radar satellites. They bounce a beam, and they know exactly where they got to bounce it up in the angle it needs to be, so that it comes down to another space. And what is that? Some air doing that? That doesn't like some gas or some the ozone layer. What the hell is doing? How are you going to bounce a beam boop, boop, off? I mean, it makes so much sense if there's some sort of dome. if it bounces something and reflect and like a mirror, which then you get into the scripture,
We're at this place, aren't we? Still
It's
not quite sure what shape we are quite. Not for sure, right? For sure. We don't know what the sun is really, or what the moon is.
Nope. No.
Firmament is, or the dome, whatever you want to call it. It's just. I know that the stars are only miles up. They're not even. On this nighttime balloon, the balloon's up at about 17 miles, and you can see the stars below the balloon camera. So we can see those kind of things, but we just don't for sure. So annoying, isn't it? And that's what we were saying earlier on, that people are doing their own experiments, spending their own money. And then you've got NASA, which you said, Steve, getting millions of dollars a day. What are they doing? They're funding their wars, HARP, and anything they want with it. Or the next program that they've got for us. So that's not good, is it? But yeah, we have to do this ourselves, don't we? The people.
Right.
We're doing it ourselves.
Yeah, and our budget, obviously.
Isn't it, though, than something like NASA? I mean, they lie about so much, like we were saying. We can't even work out how President Kennedy died, and it's all a lie and been fudged together. And, people were watching it or could see it. It was filmed. Still don't know. So none of us are that trusting, are we? Not really. We need to grow trust with each other, and the people have got to come together. It's the only way.
I agree.
With less ego.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I never was like I said, when I was younger, I always thought Earth was flat. I didn't know the shape, but I will say when I was younger, I just thought it was an infinite plane. I just thought it went on forever. As I got older, or actually as I got exposed to this movement, I've been more open to other concepts. But as a kid, I just thought that it must have just gone on forever. And
I think a lot of this happens from when we were children. It just seems that we're all very sensitive people, and this has been with us since we were children. So something didn't shut off for us, whereas it shuts off for a lot of other people.
Mm-hmm.
But it never shut off for us. That's why we're here.
Right. No, I agree. Because I know. I think as a kid, and I'm thinking about the peers, with the exception of maybe one or two people, I think we were thinking way differently than other people were. And but like I said, I was one of those people. I wouldn't call myself a denier, but if something just sounded really silly or not true, I'd be like, if it sounded too much like a miracle. So when I hear when Earth is a flying ball spinning through Earth, it's like, nah, it's impossible. Or if Santa Claus exists or whatever, I just never believed. Like,
do you know the bit that really gets me on that though? Surely, if we were spinning, I'm sorry, there'd be some vibration and noise. There would be.
It's true, especially at the speeds that they have us going at. Right? I don't care how big Earth is supposed to be.
Yeah.
No, you're supposed to feel something.
Sorry, we'd feel something.
No, I agree.
And then how would the clouds and everything be able to go? I mean, that was the one thing Patricia, I know Patricia's a bit quiet now, but that was the one thing that got her, was the clouds go on and on and on and on. How would that work?
I agree with you 100%. You know, I was talking to somebody one time and they were like, they tried to use an analogy of going to a hotel, because there was a hotel in Hollywood, the Holiday Inn. Well, it's not the Holiday anymore. It's another hotel. But when I first moved to Hollywood, okay, you guys have a good one. All right, there was a hotel where the floor, like the dance floor, moved, or wherever it was, the floor in the restaurant moved, and they tried to use that as an analogy of why you wouldn't feel Earth moving. Like they were saying something to the effect like, "Well, you don't feel the room moving, right?" And I'm like, love you too. Yeah, my son and sister are leaving. They sorry about that. They and I'm like, but it's not the same.
We love you too.
Yeah. It's not the same. A floor moving in a club or an establishment is not the same as Earth moving through space and doing all this other stuff. but I have an idea of what they're talking about because I'm sure there might have been places that you've went to where they've had that, like because it moves so slow. That's what they try to say. It moves so slow that you don't feel it. But now there's too many things going on for us not to feel some type of movement from Earth.
Imagine the swing. Because we're
Uh-huh.
always swinging round. And I mean, oh. I never thought about it much when I was younger. Like you say, I had children, was married, whatever it was. So you're quite, and you're watching Dallas. Well, sorry, it's showing my time. All the soap operas or whatever.
You said Dallas? You're getting ready to say Dallas?
Yeah, Dallas Dynasty. But that's what it
Yeah.
reminds me of.
That's all
what
right.
politics is,
Yeah.
Dallas and Dynasty.
There you go. Who shot JR, right?
Yeah, someone in the chat room earlier on said they did.
Oh, there you go. That's funny.
They just said I shot JR or something earlier on.
Or JFK.
Oh, right. They meant that. I think they said JR. But anyway.
Oh, could have been.
Yeah, your mind, and you're younger. Like my 19-year-old, she's just not interested. All she wants to do is go out. But I think there comes a time for a lot of us that we do want to know. And then you realise it's all just a bunch of lies.
Well, every time this movement started to try to gain some type of steam, it was always shot down. Because I've seen older videos from like the 70s or early 80s where people were talking about flat Earth and they got shot down. And it was like the host wouldn't even give them the time of day. And even if it might have been a flat Earth, like where it was a disc moving, they were trying to at least bring flat Earth to the forefront. But I can understand how the disc thing would sound kind of silly. But I'm just saying that whatever movement,
I think films and things, they had all these things in, but I never noticed it. But now you can watch a film from wherever, and they've mentioned flat Earth or things in it. So, but now they wouldn't, would they?
Right. Yeah, it's funny because I remember what they'll tell you indirectly by saying, because I remember hearing back in the 80s or when I was a kid even, that there was a time where people thought they would fall off the edge of the Earth. That's pretty much code for saying people thought Earth was flat, but without saying it. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Because then they take you, they put it in front of you, but use different wording to keep the word flat Earth out of your mind, right? And I was like, wow. Because I remember saying that, oh yeah, people used to think we'd fall off the edge of the Earth.
The crazy thing is, we've been told all this stuff, but actually they turned us into a ball in the 1960s, and our parents and grandparents are the most indoctrinated to the ball because they've come out of the Second World War, all our infrastructure had been destroyed. Then suddenly we get television, going to the moon, time saving. It all happened in the 60s, so it isn't even that long ago. But the indoctrination for the last 60 years is just a great big barrier to break through, isn't it?
Yeah. You know what? I'm trying to, because I could say, yeah, what was it? The moon landing, you're saying, is a way to confirm the shape of the Earth. I'm trying to think.
I think that's right, because when they talk about going to the moon, they never actually say anything to do with the shape of the Earth. It was only that everybody wanted to see what was from the moon. For the moon. Right. I think a lot of people were like, what are we? Are we flat? Are we round? Well, they don't want to bring that part in, do they? So
right.
Just not there.
I'm trying to think because I haven't watched a whole lot of footage. I mean, I know like I don't have the best vision in the world, but I know there's people that probably have good eyesight, like you guys, even maybe that you can look up at the moon, right, and maybe see the craters and details and stuff in it. I'm trying to think. In 1969, does anybody? And I could be wrong because, like I said, I haven't researched it a lot. Is there anybody, like any home videos or people that just sat outside? I know it was like a 3-day process or whatever, but supposedly, but wasn't there someone that was like looking at that whole time saying, oh, wait a minute, there's something go? Like, isn't there any just, or is it just?
I think when we're talking back then, because don't forget, we've got the internet and YouTube and Facebook and all these other things. You just saw it really on the news.
Right. I mean, but I would think that maybe somebody was standing outside with a telescope or something saying, let's see if we could see something. Is there any of those type of stories where people are like,
I don't know, because not many people could record it, could they then?
Right. But just even eyewitnesses saying, oh yeah, I think we saw something through our telescope, or you know what I mean, flying up there like. or anything? Any other stories? Like,
Well, it seems that in research that we've done on this channel in the past, that even NASA documents they've released show that we're a flat plane. The ones they've released, you
right,
found associations, and one of them, I really can't remember his name. I'm sorry, I'm not very good with names, and they laughed at him. And he's called, not called, what is he? Something Society. Like, not, it's like the Flat Earth Society, but it's not that one. He had a whole thing. His whole place burnt down in the 90s. And then it just seems about the middle of the 1990s, anything that you was on the internet, because you can find it, like put on as, there'll be papers, not videos, documents or articles from papers, books, magazines. After that, nothing until about 2000 and whatever it was, whenever everybody started talking again, 15, 14, about then. So there's a gap of about 20 years.
right. Because I'm thinking, like, for example, let's say you're watching the moon landing on TV in 1969, and then as they're following it, maybe other news crews pointing their camera and zooming in at the moon to see if you could see something landing on there from their point of view. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like other coinciding evidence other
Yeah, well,
than
they
what
can't.
you're
That's
saying.
probably one of the reasons they can't go back to the moon, isn't it? Why they've purposely lost it, because now there's cameras like the P900. If they said that they
Right,
landed,
that's what I'm
they'll
saying.
see it.
Yeah, but it seems like
See it.
there would have been something even at that time, like a decent enough camera just to show something. And I've never seen anything like that other than the stuff that you see on TV. It seems there's nothing. I don't think I've ever even see someone saying, "Yeah, well, I sat there with a telescope and looked up there and saw something." There's nothing other than what we have that
Maybe
NASA
everybody
gave
went
us.
to television to watch it because it was quite a new thing in the 60s, wasn't it? It was
Well,
new for
that's
everybody.
possible.
They got everybody tuned in on the television to the
And you
great,
know how sometimes there's like
great.
you'll see videos of somebody of a high speed chase, and then someone's like, "Oh, look, they're in their neighborhood," or even like with the OJ thing, right? People are like, "Oh, they're going down this freeway," and then people run to the streets and get out of their cars to look. There's nothing like that for the moon landing. Is what I'm saying. Like, there's no other eyewitness other than what you saw on TV. But it's easy enough for somebody to go out there and look, even with a naked eye, maybe even, or maybe with binoculars or telescope, and just say, okay, let's get set up and see it. But I personally haven't heard any stories like that.
No, there's none of that's there, but on purposely it's been done like that, hasn't it? Like when those people were
Right.
looking up, maybe they were going, "Are we a ball or are we a flat plane?" But all they talk about is going to the moon. That's the
Right.
only important part about that. But we don't know what the people were thinking at that time anymore, do we? Because it's so long ago now. It's 60 years, and a lot of those people have died by now.
Right.
Like distance, isn't it, in time? Because things just move on. I mean, I'm sorry, 9/11 should have been the biggest wake up we ever had to bring the people together, and it didn't.
And yeah, you know what? And people weren't. I even felt there was something wrong with that story, but I didn't research it then. But something just didn't seem right to me when it happened. But then after that one building fell, with Building 7, whatever, was by itself, I was like, what the hell is that all about? You know what I mean? Um,
And do you know something? To this day, a lot of people don't seem to have any idea the whole 7 buildings went. There was a complex of 7 buildings, and one way or another, they all got destroyed that day.
right. And yeah, I just thought, to me, the first thing I thought was like, how in the hell would something like that happen in America? That was the first thing I thought when it happened. It just didn't make any sense to me. And I was working a job in Hollywood, right off of Hollywood Boulevard and Vine, like across the street from Capitol Records, and I was doing customer service for AOL. Believe it or not, if you remember that company, yeah, I guess they're still around probably. But
Ooh, did you say AOL?
yeah, but this company I was working, the company I was working with that was contracted with them, let everybody go after that. They said because of 9/11 and budgets, they just did a mass layoff and let everybody go. And so from living in Hollywood, I ended up moving to where I live at now because it was just the cost of living was cheaper. 'Cause I'm so far away from the city. But otherwise, I'd probably still be in the Hollywood area. But yeah, I was working for this company and I remember that morning when that happened, the supervisor mentioning, she like came up and was like, everybody got to get your attention. Yeah, the World Trade Center was hit by a plane. I think she only mentioned one, and we were like, oh wow. And then we just got back on the phones and we're doing whatever we was doing. And then, and I remember at the time when all that was going on, I would go downtown LA to work out at a gym down there. And there's two twin buildings down in LA as well. And I'm trying to think if one day they shut it down or something because that building got threatened by terrorists as well. That, you know, they were afraid, so they might have. And I'm like, and so to think about all that stuff going on, to find out that it was all an inside job is really goofy. You know what I mean? It's like any major city, whether it was Chicago, LA, or whatever, it was like, okay, we got to worry about, you know, these buildings getting attacked as well, right? Like I'm sure the Sears Tower at the time was probably like heavily secured, and because you know you didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah. And I just think one of the worst things about that day is that there's a building collapsing or on fire next door, and they kept everybody at work in the other building and told them to go back to work.
Right. And then
Wow.
and, that's what he said. Yeah, Bush was like, continue to go shopping and spend money, and then the economy, yeah, the economy did better, right? You create the war to create more jobs. That's how it's always been historically, right? Because you know, war brings in money. And back in the day when the Rothschilds was funding it, they funded both sides of the war, right? Because it brought in more money. They controlled the whole thing.
Didn't they even report on the event minutes or maybe a half hour or hour or whatever before it happened? Was there like a problem with the
Right. In some news, in some news channels that did happen.
I mean, that's terrible. That's terrible.
And the thing that's really crazy is that the BBC were reporting that Building 7 had collapsed before it
Right.
did. And a
I
guy
saw that.
in the UK stopped paying his TV license so he could be taken to court because he wanted to stand up in court. And actually the judge agreed with him that how would the BBC have known that this building was going to come down if it was an act of terrorism? So basically, the idea was that we were all supposed to go to the police and tell them ourselves that there's something very wrong. But I mean, even that, how could they get around that? Like this building collapsing when nothing had hit it. It's ridiculous.
Right. And I don't think they had footage of the Pentagon getting hit either, right? That place is so secure and has cameras everywhere, but there's no footage of what exactly happened there.
No, and there's something else as well, whether it's true or not. I can't remember her name, but she was working there more on the legal side of it. And she said about 5 or 10 minutes before supposedly the plane, which we know it's not, went into the Pentagon, a helicopter was taking off. And suddenly, obviously, something was coming in, like a heat-seeking missile, and it hit this helicopter, blew it up. The trees were on fire. It didn't hit the building, it hit the helicopter. And all that was happening minutes before the other thing happened. So surely the Pentagon already would have had alarms going, you know, nee, 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 nee. All this would have been happening. They don't mention any of that. And so when you see all the stuff on the grass, that isn't from the plane or whatever that crap it was. It was actually to do with the helicopter that blew up minutes before. You know, it's like, wow.
Yeah, I would be really surprised if there was someone that still believed in the original narrative of 9/11. Like, I don't know, you know, even if you didn't think, even if you believed in a globe, the moon landing, or whatever, I think if you think 9/11, if you think that it happened the way it did, I'd be surprised as well. You know what I mean? Just because, or at least the building 7, or at least the building falling down by itself. If you believe a building can just fall down by itself without being touched or something weird going on, I think you'd have a problem.
Indoctrination so bad. I tried to tell my mum and dad, or my mum a few months ago, properly. I know planes went in. She said, that's what she said to me.
Oh.
Right, well, that's it. They're not saying anymore.
Right.
You only have to watch Pilots for Truth to know that planes could never have hit the Twin Towers.
What about that? Those engineers or the demolition people that their job is to blow up buildings and make them collapse straight down instead of toppling one way or the other. Demolitions experts have put out a petition, and it's getting a whole lot of names. A whole lot. I mean, obviously,
Firemen did it as
Twin
well.
Towers.
Firemen for Truth, they also said, and like for instance, if something like that had happened, you'd have cordoned it all off and forensically tested it. If it was a bomb in someone's house, or whatever, or the thought that something had exploded, they would cordon it all off, forensic testing it. They were taking it all away. So the whole thing is just ridiculous, isn't it? But I think,
No, it is.
Yeah.
But again, how many of us watched every time you turned the television on for months, all you saw was planes going in. It's like right in people's psyche to make them believe it. Had to keep repeating it and repeating it. Oh my goodness.
And then you see there's the picture of the plane hitting the building where the left side of the wing is already gone before it makes really any impact with the building.
Yeah, it disappears, doesn't it? It
It disappears. And then you got the video of the guy where he's showing you how it was live composited. And for those who don't know, it's like you can have the video of the building of the Twin Towers, and you can have a completely separate video layer over that, which is showing a plane reaching a point and exploding. But there's a lot of problems with that. First of all, what happens when a bird hits a nose of a plane? It caves in that nose of the plane so bad it's ridiculous. It's not like the plane is...
I put this out on Sun and Moon. They did this test in 1972. They tied a Falcon jet to a track, and it was doing 400 miles an hour. They wanted to see what would happen if a plane hit reinforced concrete. So what can happen to the plane?
I bet it just went boom, and concrete was like, I'm cool.
It atomized.
The plane atomized.
The plane atomized, except for the very ends of the wings.
Exactly.
Didn't touch the concrete.
It went straight past it?
So basically, the planes in 9/11 were supposed to be doing over 500 miles an hour. They'd have atomized.
Right. The towers even say that they were able to withstand such an impact of, as a matter of fact, something like a 747 Boeing or whatever it was. Like when you read that and you understand that, it's like, oh, I mean, that's what I read. That's what I heard in the video, that the actual towers were able to withstand such a plane of that magnitude hitting it.
Yeah, and not just that. Pilots for Truth, even if they had to do it on a simulator, they got loads of pilots who maybe hadn't quite passed, but had done hundreds of
what? You cut out on us, Karen. What you said? Oh, we can't hear you anymore.
There you go. You unmuted yourself, I think.
Oh.
Hello, Karen?
Something happened here.
Uh-oh. Maybe we're lucky we'll get three Karens.
Yeah, if we're lucky, we'll get 3. Well,
yeah, but
I mean,
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not sure about the. I remember hearing somewhere that, if I remember correctly, didn't Cheney or something was doing some people were practicing or doing some air training or something. I can't remember. It was a while back when I heard this, that they had something going on anyway.
Are you talking about where they were taking pictures at a certain when they were inside the building? They were taking pictures of people by the windows, and then the helicopters were also taking some aerial pictures. Are you getting to that kind of video?
About that, I think there might have been some, or the Navy. Somebody was out there doing something, or like maybe it was the Air Force or something was doing something else around the same time that happened. So they were nowhere to be. I can't remember. I have to try to look it up to remember what I'm trying to say. But there was something going on, or Cheney was involved with something going on around the same time that the 9/11 happened. I think it had something to do with the Air Force.
There's so much stuff, man, that's coming out with that. I mean, it's ridiculous that you go into, jet fuel melting steel beams and all that garbage. It's just not, it's just nonsense. Then you find a thermite, and then you hear about the explosions at ground level before anything. Like there was explosions at the basement level, all this stuff. It just adds up. But I don't know. That's why I stick to flat Earth, because it's there's all these facts that could add up over time on things and still have people scratching their heads, or you can go and get your laser out or your telescope and measure that the Earth's really flat. You got nothing else to say about that.
Are we still live? My internet's it's back now. My internet just
Okay.
logged off. Are we live?
Yeah, I think we are. Yep, we're live.
Still live.
My computer says that the live chat is disconnected.
We're good. I'm looking at it still.
Yeah, we're still live.
Gee, my internet just logged off. Sorry about that.
It's all right.
Yeah, it's okay. Yep.
Yeah, we're back. Oh my goodness, what a weird night. Not us, just the internet. Sorry, carry on then. I'll just sort it out because I need to get back on the computer, don't I? Because can't turn the Hangout off on the phone. It doesn't work. I have to do it on the computer. But anyway, sorry, what were you just saying? Because I logged out.
I actually can't stay too much longer, Karen, or I'm going to miss my impromptu fishing trip I planned. The sun is about to go down. I don't want to go there when it's too dark. It's probably dark right now. I don't even know.
Yeah, we have been going for 3.5 hours now, but I just need to get back on so I can turn it off. So just give me a couple of minutes to get back on the computer.
No problem, boy. Time sure flies by when I'm having fun with these.
Oh, man.
I tell you.
Really great hangout. You two have talked really nicely today, so I much appreciate that.
It's been a blast. We've had a solid 80, 86, probably got up to 90 people on this hangout. So awesome. And I actually have a thing going where guys, look, and it made it to almost all 13 groups, but you can go to pilotposter.com and link up your Facebook account to it. It's a free site, and you can post anything you want. Like what I did was I put "Join us live on the Sun and Moon Family United," the Horseshoe Show, Stephen A., Karen Pettit, Patricia, and more. But maybe I should put more because nobody else came. I just didn't know. But anyway, the link, I put the link, and then what it does is I type in flat Earth, and so all the groups that I have flat Earth in the title of show up, and then I sort. Guess this. Check this out. I sort it by the most amount of members. So I have one of the groups called Flat Earthers United has 51,000 members. The next one down is 46,000, 46,000, 38,000, 21,000. So a lot of these people now just got this link, and I just boxed all of them and hit go, and every 90 seconds it's still doing it. It's sending this chat out. It's a free service. It's sending this link out, this YouTube link. So check it out, guys. If you want to support your people and you don't have all day to share it to all the Facebook groups you're in, use Pilot Poster. It's a free service. And if you're a marketer, this is invaluable information.
Hey, look who's going past.
Oh.
And he's gold.
Yeah, there he is. Yep.
There you go. Oh, see, there you go. Hey, you know what, Horry, this is what I was talking about. I see, I think Dave's on here from Deep in the Rabbit Hole. He was saying there were more than a dozen drills going on of planes. Oh, I just moved. Of planes being hijacked and crashed into the buildings, including the towers. That's what maybe I was thinking of. I knew there was something going on that day.
He said there was a bird strike today. Check Dave Marsh's Facebook post, too. What's he talking about?
Hey, Horry, before we go, is Facebook back up then?
Yeah. Yep.
It had a wibbly wobbly.
It did for a while. Yeah, I couldn't do anything.
Anyway, it's been really great chatting. I've really enjoyed this hangout, as ever, Horry and Steve. It's been really nice. And Patricia, sorry about Astral not feeling very well. Thank you so much.
I hope he gets better soon.
Chat room. It's been really nice. I've really enjoyed today.
Thank you, Karen. As always, I've also enjoyed it thoroughly. You are my Flat Earth family and my wonderful Flat Earth mom. You're definitely one of my favorite Flat Earth moms. And and it's nice. And Stephen, nice meeting you. Nice talking to you. And
good talking to you too.
It's been good, brother. And Patricia hasn't said anything, but I love me Patricia too.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's got her son there, so she's been a bit more. She's been a bit more quiet this last few weeks.
Oh, Karen, I'm sorry to interrupt this, Karen, but I have that stormtrooper that likes to egg the Tesla. He's coming out right now. I don't want to just end the show with you with this because I'm going to give him a good old 1-2. Remember I told you about this, Steven? I got something. Crank the car up. Here we go. All right. Let's. Here he goes. We could just wave bye to him. Ready? He's gonna get in. Hold on. I gotta give it a little bit more of a. There we go. It was the last crank. Here we go. Bye bye. Bye bye. Give him a little blast back to the Death Star. But thank you, Karen. I know I'm a goofball.
Oh no, thank you. And yeah, Steve, we'll say goodbye off air, okay? We'll leave on air and we'll say goodbye off air. But thank you to everybody that's listened in. This has been a really great hangout, and we're back tomorrow, as I said, with Roxanne and John Smith Globalized, Harry, and I think Jason of the Disbury, and maybe a couple of others. But see you tomorrow, and thank you so much, guys. Mwah.
You're welcome. Mwah to you too.
Mwah. I love you.
Love you, Karen.
Love you all.
Yay,
Bye, chat.
Patricia. See,
I'm here, yeah. I'm here.
There we go. Love you back.
Patricia. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Oh,
Anyway.
come on.
Hey. Good night from us anyway, or good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Yeah, check